Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmund, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
Good morning.
And Bruce.
Back home again.
And Spence.
Hello.
And we also have Steve online.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype, and this morning's show is being brought to you by that VidBlaster guy, Tom Sinclair, and by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. How are you all doing, y'all?
Awesome.
I'm doing great now that, because I know this show is recorded on these Adamus devices, that equates to the fact that we're professionals. Am I hearing that right?
You are.
So I better sort myself out then. Behave, Steve.
Don't go tossing that word professional around so freely.
Yeah. Well, my dad used to say an expert was a drip under pressure.
I learned that an expert in the industry that I spent all those years in is the guy who's 5 minutes ahead of somebody else.
Is that all it is? Is that all it is?
Well, it's just that there's a SME, or a subject matter expert, which is somebody who has a narrow band of knowledge on a specific subject. And then there's an expert because he's lived through all the pain of something. I can say, I know about that because it came back and bit me in the butt.
Okay. That's fine.
And they're the self-proclaimed experts.
Good morning, everybody in the chat. I guess Eiffel fixed her computer.
It just cooled down, I imagine. It, unfortunately, it's getting overheated all the time, so a bit like us, really. But, yeah, she's not technically savvy, unfortunately, so it doesn't want to take a chance on blowing it out.
Well,
you know, I mean, dust-wise, I don't mean... Yes, you know what I mean.
Good morning.
Good morning. And congrats to the Olympians for scoring all their medals. They got the highest score of medals for Olympics outside of the U.S. And the reason I called is, are you familiar with the Flipboard magazines, Amnon?
Flipboard?
Yes.
No.
Well, it's basically a pretty magazine. It gives you like a PDF-looking file, then you can turn the page and forth. I'm sure you've seen something of this nature. And you can populate it with the Flipboard app on your smartphone. The problem that I have, it won't play on my Chromebook. That's true. The glorious Chromebook will not play my Flipboard.
Oh.
And it works on the computer. It works on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. But in the Chrome browser that is on the Chromebook, not so much.
I have a solution. Are you ready?
Bruce.
There is an extension that you can get in the Chrome Web Store called User Agent Switcher for Chrome. User Agent Switcher for Chrome.
Right.
And I have to use that in order to look at Microsoft Outlook web app. I think I may have mentioned this a time or two on the show, that the particular version of Chrome, the normal Chrome browser on my PC views Microsoft Outlook web app perfectly. I can use the light version, or I can use the full version. So I couldn't do that on the particular Chrome browser that's on the Chromebook. So I installed User Agent Switcher, and what you can do is you can spoof a particular tab, and you can make it a permanent spoof, and you can. And what I can do right now, and I guess I could actually.
It's similar to when you had, like in Firefox, if you have to view something as the Internet Explorer.
Right, and here's my page I'm looking at. So I can click on Firefox, and I can choose a particular version of Firefox that I want to view Computers 2K Now on. Or I can choose Safari, Opera, Internet Explorer, iOS. And so I can spoof that tab on my Chromebook version of the browser. And
okay.
I think
well, let's throw this in the pond and see if it floats.
Yeah,
I'll give you the link in the chat. This is my shameless plug for my webpage as it appears, but it's really not. Yeah, right. Down to the bottom of that, and you'll see all the bugs that say follow me on Facebook, etc. And there's one that's got a little icon on it that says Flipboard.
Okay.
And then click on that. That'll take you to the collection of the magazines, and then click on one of the covers that's there. Yeah, that little red block there.
Yeah, I'm looking here.
It's on the right-hand side near the bottom.
Okay.
No, go down. Go down.
Okay, I'm down as low as I can go right now, and there's a little delay between us. Oh, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, my profile, friend feed, OneBlog, WordPress.
Your mouse is right below it. Move your mouse back to see that little red square.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. So this is your Flipboard magazine. Yeah, this is a pretty cool thing. This is almost like, let's see, Paperly and other things where you can post things.
Well, the reason I like this better, I have 100% control of the content.
Yeah.
Very nice. Go ahead and try to turn the page. You'll get the cover open. Now try to turn another page. Oh, it's turning other pages?
Right. Now I'm not on the Chromebook, of course. I'm on my Chrome browser on my PC.
Right, but I can't do with my Chromebook now, and that's why I called. Is to find out why if the cover will open, it seems that all the pages should open too. Anyway, thanks for that, Bruce. I will. What's that app again?
Okay, that app is called User Agent Switcher for Chrome.
Okay.
User Agent Switcher, and you can spoof any tabs, or you can spoof all the tabs. You know.
I will get the Chromebook out and try that right now, and I'll give you a holler back and let you know yay or nay if that was the winner.
All right,
for anybody else that has a Chromebook, and then we'll make the world a better place, one Chromebook at a time.
Man, I love the Chromebook. Traveling over this last couple of weeks, it was just a great experience.
Try this Flipboard magazine.
What just happened? What just happened? I mean,
I don't know. Bruce's lips were moving, but I couldn't hear him.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm amazed how Bruce, you just connected. You just took control of Uncle Guy's machine, or you logged into the machine?
No, I'm on his Flipboard magazine
That's what I mean.
page.
Where was the link that you clicked on to get to that?
Okay, it doesn't look like a normal link. There's actually a little box down here, and it says Guy R. Cook, where my mouse is, and it's got a little Flipboard icon there.
Okay,
right.
I didn't recognize the icon.
Privacy policy, yeah. But he's right about this, because all of these other Paperly things and all that, they kind of auto-populate with articles, based on your subject matter. But with Flipboard, you can populate with only the articles. You have complete control over the content. And how many subscribers do you have to your Flipboard magazine now, Guy?
In less than a month, there are 365 or 66, something like that.
Yeah.
The main one has 290, and I've only done Twitter for promotion. I haven't really kicked this in the pants yet. I'm still learning how to build my own content for Flipboard. Mm-hmm. You can write your own stuff instead of linking to other articles, and so then 366 for the whole suite.
Yeah, Dan McDermott uses this to prepare for his Android Week show and Google Plus show, and everybody can go to the Flipboard magazine and look at the different articles, and it makes it real easy to populate during the week for things you want to talk about on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's
So
very, very
the
handy.
application is called Flip-Off?
Flipboard.
Flipboard.
And it's works. It's great on the iPhone and I like the way it works. It's got a great user interface. You know, I like it because I can do a one-handed operation. If I'm, if I'm at the motel having breakfast in the morning, I can just, I can have my fork in one hand and I can just be flipping with my thumb, on the other hand, going to the different articles. And
and that might be how Dan does his show. Is he has a private collection that he doesn't share on his web page.
Right.
All right.
So I'll go get the Chromebook.
Take care.
Great.
Very interesting.
By the way, just one other thing, there are more and more great extensions for the Chrome browser all of the time, and a new one that I learned about this week is called Screencastify. And oftentimes people want to do a quick and dirty video tutorial, a little screen capture thing, and Screencastify will do that for you. It'll record even the audio that a page is producing. So if you happen to be watching a YouTube video, that audio will be part of the screen capture, or you can set it for your microphone. But it's a little extension, and it's really easy to do. And of course, I know people are used to what's some of the other popular screencasting websites where you can create those things. And
there are a ton of them, but there are a lot of utilities that are resident as well. I forget the names of them. I use two different ones.
Yeah, I have Camtasia.
Wirecast will do it.
If I want to do something really fancy, I'll do Camtasia.
XSplit will do a screen capture.
Yep. If you're going to do XSplit, you want to make sure you got you're going to do a local recording and do screen capture. Set your resolution up nice and high.
Yeah, I use one called Fast Stone Capture, but they're really all the same.
So I didn't get this until I got home. This came in the mail. This is a credit card size business card type thing that would fit easily in your wallet, and you can see it's nice and thin. But I'm glad I didn't get this before I left off, because what it is a knife, and it fits in your. And there you go. There's a little knife, and it all locks up. And I can tell you, it is quite sharp. But if you want something quick and easy, and then you can just fold it right back down there.
Is that TSA approved?
No, this is not TSA approved. I'll guarantee you.
Yeah. Is that metal blade or plastic?
It is a metal blade, and the outside is a hard plastic.
Because some small blades are now approved by TSA. I don't remember how big they are, but it's surprising that they have backed off on some of the requirements.
Yeah, my issue with this,
1/16 of an inch.
It's free. I only had to pay shipping. And, of course, when it came with an advertisement to get another knife from them at, $15.95 or something like that. But I'd hate to, have it be a problem and then lose it, because they'll throw it in the trash, and once you're at the TSA.
Put it on eBay.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable-looking device.
Yes.
I had to make a decision for a friend whose mother was going from XP to Windows 8, and they were asking me for alternatives as to what could she do, and they asked me, what about Chromebook? Could I load Chrome onto the laptop that they bought? I said, sorry, you can't. Would a Chromebook be a good idea? And I said, well, if she's moving from XP to something else, I don't think she's ready to go to Chrome. She's 82.
She's not ready to go to Windows 8 either.
No, I know, and that's why I've actually got the laptop here now, and I'm downgrading it to 7. But I strongly considered Chrome, but I realized, well, you know what? The person who is going to be supporting, or the woman who asked me, is supporting her mom remotely, and I said, no. She doesn't use Chrome, so I'm not going to recommend that she.
What does she do with a computer?
Email, but the point is that her daughter, who supports her, has to be able to be familiar with it too. And she likes the idea that she can have the same experience in front of her as she describes to her mother how to do something, or she can remotely control her mom's machine. So I wasn't going to get into making a dramatic change. But I seriously considered Chromebook for a while as an
Well,
alternative.
I'll tell you this. A few years ago, I got Kathy a netbook. Now, you know, Kathy is not a technical person at all.
Careful, careful.
No,
Real
no, she
careful.
knows. I tell her.
Real
I tell,
careful.
I tell her
Tread
that
lightly.
all the time. And until today, sometimes she would do something and she'll hand it to me and say, "Okay, what do I do with this?" What, about 6 months ago, I got her a Nexus 7. She never asked me one thing about how to do this or how to do that. She hardly ever uses the netbook. She always has, when she comes in and she sits in the living room, she has the tablet in her lap, and she does she checks her mail, everything she does on that. It has to say something for a person who is not computer savvy to be able to do this and never. I mean, when I take the tablet, sometimes I ask her, I say, "Well, how do you get to this? How do you get to that?" Because I can't figure it out. I mean, it's too easy. So, Bruce, is the Chromebook sort of like a tablet? Or
Yeah,
is
it's like there's two major differences. To the negative side, the Chromebook doesn't have a Retina display if you happen to have an iPad or a Nexus 7 that's got the really high density pixels. But to its credit, it has a full size keyboard. I was at Florida last week, and my brother-in-law and sister have an iPad, and they're on the couch with the iPad. I'm on the couch or table or sitting on a chair with my Chromebook. And they would find something. They would hand me the iPad. Of course, the iPad is in one of those cases, you know, with a magnetic thing that covers it up and turns it off and on. And all Swanee, when I'm holding the iPad in one hand and my Chromebook in the other hand, the Chromebook really, weight-wise, is the same, or it feels lighter actually to hold it because of the way the density is spread out between the lid and the screen and the keyboard. But I tell you, I just like having a full-size keyboard, because if I want to, you know, reply to an email or something else like that, I mean, the keyboard is right there. And really, I don't need a Retina display.
But that's not what I'm asking. I'm talking about from if you give somebody a tablet or a Chromebook or a laptop, which one doesn't belong in there? One of these things doesn't belong there.
One of these things is
Yeah.
just like the other.
Well, if we're talking about your wife, I think she could be happy with either the tablet or the Chromebook, unless
Okay,
she's got a bunch of.
that's exactly
Yeah, if she
what
could-
I'm talking about. I would think not playing with the Chromebook. I would think that the Chromebook would be like the tablet and not like the netbook that runs XP or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle Guy. Whoops.
Yes.
I think
we won't do a discussion about my peculiarities with the Chromebook. I just wanted to call back and say that the user switcher.
Whoops. Uh-oh.
Did we lose him?
Yep. Let me see.
Did he slip into the space-time continuum?
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
Put me on hold again.
So what? So you start saying, Uncle Guy. What happened?
I was put on hold, if that helps.
He's gone again.
He's on hold on the other side.
No, he's not. He just hung up. I mean, he was on.
How was he calling in on Skype, the Skype voice line?
There he is again. Let's see. Okay, let's try this time.
I'm back.
Okay.
It just went away. I don't know if it's. I use Vonage for my phone system, and sometimes it has.
That's okay. Don't
challenges
worry
being
about it.
digital.
So what happened?
So nothing. I had the same situation. I tried Internet Explorer. I tried Firefox. I tried the default Chrome, and nothing would open the page beyond the cover. I can open the cover of the Flipboard magazine, but none of the individual pages inside that you saw Bruce doing with his Windows-powered Chrome browser. So it's still on the drawing board. There's a solution. There always is. I just don't know what it is right now today. But thanks for your suggestion.
As a quick fix, if you can't get it sorted so it'll open on that device, can you convert it to a PDF file and open it on another bit of software, perhaps?
Well, yeah, but I don't want my users to have to do that. I want them to just click on the link to.
Yeah,
it's like a live thing. Are you familiar with Flipboard magazine?
No, I'm not. I just thought of it a quick way if you wanted to look at something urgently, and you could perhaps do it by PDF. But if it's for users, then no, apologize. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, I have 360 some subscribers, and at least one of them might have a Chromebook.
Right. Okay.
So as opposed to giving them those challenges, and there are many challenges with a Chromebook that happen from time to time, and this is just one of them that's happened. It's not a big deal because I have 3 computers. I can look at the magazines on the computer and populate them with my smartphone, so it's not a, oh my God. In fact, I can populate them with the Chromebook. The Flipboard app for the Chromebook will work to do that too. But
I'll play around with it later this afternoon, Guy, and because there was a particular website I went to that helped me to make some particular adjustments for it. But I mean, you're familiar with extensions. You know, you right-click on it and you go to options, and there are different options
I've made a couple apps, Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, cheerio. Okay. Have a great day.
Talk to you later.
All right. Oh, Spence is at the Winter Olympics then, eh?
No, I'm in a Tibetan monastery.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Focus. See you, bye.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. What'd you say?
I said, focus, Spencer-san.
Oh,
that's it.
It's nice to actually hear
If
somebody
I
say that.
here, it's because I've reached the next state of energy, and I'll have
You've reached the end of the ramp.
Astral
and the Wi-Fi signals don't reach that far.
Oh, I'm using that new low Earth orbiting Wi-Fi that they're talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. That'll be excellent for when you're 37,000 feet on skis.
Unregulated is the key. But the point is that who's going to let them launch it? Somebody will regulate by the availability of launch vehicles as to how it's used. If you don't know about the story, there is a company that has proposed putting up a bunch of Earth relay Wi-Fi satellites, low Earth orbiting. If you remember a company called Iridium that tried to do this for communications, for cell phone-like service with low Earth orbiting satellites, it crashed and burned. I think they actually did put a few satellites up, but never became a viable service. This company plans to put up, in a single launch, put up multiple small satellites that will be zipping around, and you'll be able to connect to Wi-Fi across these satellites. And the point of it all is that it's unregulated. There will be no governing body that tells them how they can, although they still have to connect to the internet, obviously, through a gateway, but they can say that, we can create our own internet separate from the current internet.
So that's the problem. You've always got to connect in somehow, and there'll be legislation to say, nope, we don't want you to let them connect in. So you've got all the...
Plus, they say what is going to be needed on the device to connect to a satellite. I realize they have satellite phones. Obviously, it's strong enough to broadcast to a satellite. But what kind of battery life are you going to get? It's a problem they would solve if it was popular. But it'd be interesting to see.
Satellite phones now is still pretty bulky, but they've got quite a good battery life on them compared to, like any phone, I suppose, compared to what they used to be 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But I still wouldn't want one because I'd never have anyone to ring anyway. Plus the fact like the monthly ongoing cost for those things must be astronomical.
Well, I got spoiled. I missed my flight, my return flight on Friday. I had to come back on Saturday. But the
You
upside to that
Americans
was
are strange. You got spoiled
I
because
got
you
bumped
missed
to
your
first
flight.
class.
Oh, well, that is being spoiled.
Yeah. So I got bumped to first class, and the Chromebook not only comes with 100 gigabytes of storage for 2 years on Google Drive, but it also comes with 12 GoGo in-flight free passes to use. And this Airbus 300 had free Wi-Fi, and apologized for the fuzziness of the picture there. But there's you have all kinds of flexibility when you're flying first class as far as little trays and slide out things, you know. So my Chromebook's sitting there, my Cran Apple, you know. It's been a while since I had a flight attendant say, "Mr. Turner, would you like a pre-flight beverage?" And but boy, it was, and I did 2 hangouts from 32,000 feet using the GoGo in-flight, and it worked really, really good. So.
And did that
But I
guy
thought
know?
about that.
Does this guy know that you took his picture?
No, he doesn't know.
Uh-oh.
But the other
This could
thing,
start. This could start a whole.
This guy knows though, and I posted this on Facebook and Google Plus. You may have seen it. This is Sergeant James Lowry. He was on his way back from Afghanistan. He'd been gone for 11 months, and he was
Wow.
on his way to Lynchburg to visit his, to be with his wife and come home. He's in the Army National Guard, and boy, what a pleasure to sit next to him and hear his story and see his excitement about going home. Yeah.
That's a long time to be away.
Yep. And I just gotten off that first class flight, and so now I'm on this little Dash 8 plane going to Lynchburg, and I've got an empty seat next to me, and I think, oh great, I'll be able to stretch out. And I look down the aisle and I see this soldier headed my way, and sure enough, he's got the window seat next to me. But man, what a blessing it turned out to be.
Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been going through the internal debate in my mind about what computer I'm going to take with me on my 6-month assignment, and I haven't really decided yet. I'm about to upgrade my Mac. My Mac is still running on the same load from when I got it like 3 years ago, and my son is going to bring over a newer version for me to install to see if it helps unbloat it. It's slightly bloated, not bad. It's more of a Firefox thing than it is a Mac thing as far as the operating system goes. But I'm going to upgrade that and see if that improves the performance, in which case I'll take Pam will have her Windows laptop with her. And I'll take one of my iPads. But would like to have one of each would be good. Things are happening fast this past week, just where I was getting kind of nervous about not having a lot of documentation. It all just came at once. So,
those of you that don't live in our immediate area probably couldn't care less about this. But as Google Fiber forges ahead into new metro areas, Michael Brick reports on worries the fiber project will create a permanent underclass. Listen to this, Mike. Building the next generation of information economy infrastructure around current demand, experts say, will deny poor people the physical wiring needed to gain access while the privileged advance at hyperspeed. The fiber service deployment means multiplicity of the digital divide, multidimensionality of the digital divide, says a Park of the University of New Haven.
Hogwash.
I know, but listen.
For installation, you get free. There's a certain amount of bandwidth that you get free if you can pay the installation price. And the installation price when they first rolled it out was at Kansas. I think it was like $300. But there's some cities where they're not going to have near the cost of installation. I've heard it could be as low as $30 in some places, depending on
What kind of speed do you have the quote unquote poor has these days? In cities, and I doubt they have 5 down, 1 up.
Well,
I don't even have 1 up.
Said you can see in Google trial in Kansas City, speeds matter, explains Google, because a world with universal access and 100 times faster internet could mean 100 times the learning. Without universal access, as in the case of Kansas City, due to pricing that's out of the reach of many of the city poor, one presumes the outcome could be 100 times the learning divide. Another case of the unintended consequences of good intentions. This is, I mean, I really hate to say that, but that's the thing that we first, back in when, 2007, spread the wealth. Come on, I mean, you build it and then let the other ones, or, I mean, I think sooner or later Google will probably get into everywhere. Google will be the only ISP. That would be nice as long as they don't take advantage.
no,
But,
they'll take advantage.
Well,
They hate you.
I don't think so.
Trust me.
Why?
Because you interfere with their business. They want to make money. They don't want to bother with customer service issues.
Well, they will, though.
issues that I've asked them about. I had an issue with Google, and I even went through back doors that you're aware of, try to get some help on an issue. They wouldn't waste their time.
On a lot of the social media sites won't look at Facebook. You try and get in contact with them, you can't. Twitter, you can't. It's, it's designed that if you want to use it, you can use it. If it doesn't do what you want it to do, or it's not working for you right, tough luck.
I don't know. I mean, I think what they can also do, and they probably will, is the way that Bell South did in the early days of DSL. While I was with Network Technologies, with Frank, may he rest in peace.
Frank died?
Yeah, he. That's
Your
about 2 or 3
audio is
months
low,
ago.
Amnon. I can hardly hear you.
Really?
Yeah. Can you guys hear him okay?
I can.
Okay, because must be going on here. I'm hearing a lot of ducking and other things going on. It must be me.
I hear normal audio. I just hear an occasional echo.
But
And the echo means that somebody's feeding something back into Skype, which means Skype is trying to control the mix minus, which means that you need to all check and make sure you are sending mix minus to Skype.
But Bell South would bring DSL to an ISP, and we had the equipment to take it and divide it and send it to customers, which actually Bell South would run to their location. But we had to take care of all the customer service issues. Sort of like what Earthlink does with cable and DSL. It's not their own, but they're taking care of the service, or they try to anyway. So if they do that, they don't have to deal with customer service issues on the local. But it's the reason why we're excited is because the triangle where we are, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, is one of the areas that was announced that they are going to try and come into.
Right, and with regard to what Brent posted, he said, news, Google Fiber is coming to Raleigh. That's not necessarily correct.
No.
Google has announced that they are considering coming to Raleigh. The state of North Carolina, in many ways, is hostile to high-speed internet providers because they are, well, let's just say that it's not an ideal environment for these providers, and they very well could pass over North Carolina again like they've done before. I suspect that what has happened is that like I live in Cary, and the town of Cary has a progressive mayor who's actually pursuing high-speed internet for people here. I don't agree with anything else he's done, but he is very aggressive and progressive on this matter. He realizes the value of high-speed internet. So he is not only supporting, he's actually working with the people who are trying to provide gigabit internet to the people of Cary. Accordingly, he is trying to persuade the people at Google to take a serious look at our area and to actually move ahead with coming into our area. He has an uphill battle, unfortunately, because the state of North Carolina has passed some laws that are very favorable to the existing powers that be.
Yeah, but
Vote the
again,
bums out.
but again,
Man.
I'll say that I don't think Google is stupid to waste their time. I think they know something that we don't, or they found a loophole or something. Otherwise, why would they, this will
Amnon,
be...
there's not a loophole. A loophole is not necessary. If Google says we're going to fund it 100% ourselves with no involvement from the government,
Right,
no problem.
right.
They are free to do that. But let me ask you a question. Let's assume that Nissan Communications is going to install $1 billion system somewhere.
Mhm.
And you can go to city A and it'll cost you $1 billion, or you can go to city B and the city will pay half of it. And you'll have the same economic opportunity in each place. Which one are you going to choose?
Of course, I'll choose
B.
City B, and I will not even bother with City A.
Yeah.
So why are they bothering with City A?
Well, you're assuming the left hand knows what the right hand is doing,
Well,
and that may be
I'm
be
also
true.
assuming that Google is not stupid.
Well, I don't know.
Also,
about that.
Google. Think about what Google's frame of mind is, the size of the company, the clout that they have, and when people get that kind of clout, they look at the obstacles that we think are unsurmountable, and they go, it's a bribe, it's this money, we pay that person, we do this, and we'll get in.
I didn't say that.
I think that they look at this and say they're not that concerned about spending a little bit more to get the service in, because this is something that, they'll bow to us because we have global domination.
Well, does anybody think that if Google decides to come to the Triangle and they're successful, who is not going to go with their service?
A lot of people.
Why?
Give you a prime example.
Yeah.
What's your internet speed, Spence?
20 down, 2 up.
Well, why aren't you doing 30 down, 5 up? It's available. In fact, 50 down, 5 up is available. Why
Right.
aren't you doing it?
Cost.
You don't need it.
I don't need
No,
it,
it's
that's true.
cost.
Well,
I honestly don't. 2 enough. 2. It's
Right.
a little over 2. It's gotten better over time.
right. But
it's
you don't
a
need
little
it.
over 2
If
up.
you needed
No.
it, you'd spend the money.
Yep.
There's
The
not
big
the money.
difference.
Then
the big
wait.
difference
Then
will
hold
be
on a
when
second.
Netflix starts streaming 4K videos. That's when people are going to need it.
Wait.
And that's what
That's going to take time. But wait a second, Mike. I'll argue.
But you got to
that-
get there. You got to get there, Amnon. And
I know.
There's a
I
chicken market.
understand. I understand. But I'm assuming that they already moved. Mike, if you don't need 15 down or 20 down and 2 up, you probably can do fine with 5 down and 1 up, which you will
Okay.
get free from them.
Okay.
So why would you keep paying $50 or $40 for internet
All right.
service?
That's a different question. If you're saying who would not accept free internet service from them if it would meet their needs, then I retract what I said.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm arguing it in that way with you. Tell you, let's assume that I don't need more than 30 by 5, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they came in. Right now, my cable, my Time Warner bill is about $140 some. And I was just informed yesterday that it's going to go up next month.
Right. They want to continue to provide the same quality service that you've enjoyed for the past year.
Supposedly, yeah. But look at Kansas City you get the whole package plus a lot more from Google for 120. So if they only gave me 30 by 5, I would switch, because they're cutting my cost, and that's what we're looking at. Cut your cost.
Right, but you're
now,
assuming
the
that
fact that
Time
I'm
Warner is not. We got a lag or delay here or something.
the fact that they are giving me a gigabit, or I don't know that it's going to be gigabit, it may be 500, or even if it was 100, is just icing on top of the cake. I mean, we were looking, Katie was here last night, and we were looking at it because she's reading all over the place, and she's getting excited over it. And I said, cool off, because it's not for certain. But you get a DVR. We don't have a DVR. If I had a DVR, it will cost another, what, $7?
25.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You got to rent a remote and rent the box.
Yeah,
itself.
so you see, so all these things are coming into play so I can't think of anybody that will not go with them if they have it available to them, because the cost is going to be less, the speed is going to be higher, you're going to get more for your money, and they give you some other stuff. I don't know. There's a list of what is available in the full package.
That's
nice.
I hope we get to the point. I have relatives on Long Island who are telling me all the time about how between Verizon, Cablevision, and one other company, I don't know who it was, they are constantly offering them special deals to switch over to them, and they pay the termination fee. My brother-in-law switches back and forth every few months. It's insane. He says, oh, yeah, I just switched back to Verizon, and now I'm switching back to Cablevision. I said, how long were you with Verizon? He goes, 3 months.
Yeah, because
I said,
they give you...
What kind of a deal are they offering you? He says, well, they offer me the triple play phone, data, and television, DVR, full package for sports. They don't get HBO, but
Yeah.
it's $100 a month guaranteed for 2 years.
Yeah.
I said, why wouldn't you do that? Here, it would be almost half off for me if that was the case.
Yeah.
So I hope we get to that point where there actually is viable competition. UVerse is still only available at certain houses in my neighborhood because of the condition of the outside plant. The wiring is so poor that they can't bring 2 decent pair to my house to give me UVerse.
It seems like, and again, like I said before, there's a few things that I don't understand here. Google last time, before that law passed, could have spent $1 million on ads and influence the citizens to urge the legislator not to pass that law. I mean, I remember we had guests on our show. We were talking about it all the time, and we knew it was bad. But unfortunately, most people didn't know, and the legislator did not even understand it or would like to think so. And they passed it. I mean, there's no reason to pass such a thing. But they did. Again, maybe they couldn't influence it back then. But Google can even today put a petition online and let the citizens to speak and just go in and say, yes, I will go with that. I mean, if Google said, we'll come, we want people to pre-register and guarantee that we come in. And if they come by themselves, I wouldn't blame them a bit for trying this, because they want to make sure that they're going to get their return. If I had to sign up and say, yes, when you come in, I'm going to go with you, I would sign in a heartbeat, and I'm sure a lot of other people will. Because the bottom money, and if they're saving you money and giving you better service, you go with that. And that's my 2 cents.
Here's the email from the town of Cary. It says Google recently, it's kind of long, but I think it's worth hearing.
It is worth hearing, absolutely. Harold is good.
Harold's Google recently announced that Cary is one of several Triangle towns and cities being considered for future installation of its fiber optic network. This announcement generated a tremendous response from our citizens, including the demand that we actively pursue this opportunity and questions about the effect it will have on our participation in the region's North Carolina Next Generation Network project. First, let me say that the Cary Town Council and town staff are all very excited about Google's announcement, and we're doing all we can to bring fiber to Cary. In 2010, Cary joined more than 1,000 communities across the country in applying to be among the first to test Google's new service. Although that honor went to Kansas City, we are fortunate to be considered now as the company adds 34 new locations to its expansion plan. Citizens can trust that we will fully participate in Google's selection process and provide them with the information they need in a timely manner. This evaluation is extensive and will include analyzing everything from Cary's topography to our permitting process. Google is hoping to choose which locations will receive fiber by the end of the year. Town staff is prepared to meet the challenge and make it easy for Google to choose Cary. I also want to make it clear that the town is still committed to the North Carolina Next Generation Network initiative, referred to in the past as GIG-U. In fact, Google's announcement is in line with the work we've been doing as a member of the NCNGN project to address our community's need for faster internet speeds at competitive prices. Regional effort, which includes 5 other Triangle municipalities and 3 universities, will continue to encourage companies to provide next-generation broadband service at gigabit internet speeds, which are 100 times faster than today's basic speeds. Currently, the NCNGN Steering Committee is reviewing proposals for a regional network that would provide this ultra-fast service. Here in Cary, we value innovation, and we're committed to bringing the best services and economic development opportunities to our communities. Citizens can count on their town council and town staff to make decisions that keep Cary one of the best places in the, Anyway, it seems to me that if I had to guess what's going on here, because we're all assuming that Google really likes us, but my guess is that if Google is in fact doing their homework, and if they are as smart as a lot of us want to think that they are, they've probably seen that this NCNGN project is getting some traction. If they want to head that off and get in here before they've got the competition, they're going to have to do it now.
Well,
I hope that's the case.
maybe it doesn't matter why. I mean, I would rather Google come here than see that NCN whatever go on, because it's going to cost our municipalities money. It's going to cost our universities money. And to see Google putting the money is much better.
I don't agree. But
and I don't know how they can do it, because, again, if municipalities are involved here, how does that play with the law that was passed that no tax money, no municipalities can get involved and be in competition with ISPs? I mean, is one of Cary stupid? They know that.
Are you asking me that?
I'm asking you that. I don't think so.
Let's just say that I hope that I have a lot of common sense, and a lot of things they do don't gee-haw with what I think they ought to be doing.
I mean, look, here it's a black and white. It's like saying, I'm going to get a 1-inch tires to drive on roads in a city that's full of potholes. I know I'm going to destroy my wheels every day, and it's going to cost me again and again and again, because every time I hit a pothole, I'm bending my rim. So am I stupid enough to do it? Do you think there are people who will keep on doing that? I don't think so, because every time to pay another $500-$600 just because you hit a pothole a few times a day, you're going to say, no, I'm going to get normal tires like everybody else. So you don't even go that route. I don't think that Cary would spend the time and money to be involved in this initiative if there is a law that they know at the end of the line, we can't do that. because state law will stop us.
Okay, time will tell.
Absolutely, and I may be 100% wrong, but I'd like I'd like
Amnon,
to.
I hope you're right.
I hope so
Yeah,
too. But I'm saying,
one of the things I'm hearing here is two things. One is a concern about being disappointed, because I mean, I think you have to say that initially when the announcement came out and you first saw, and I thought about you guys immediately, and I tweeted it, and Mike, you responded to my tweet. I think there's initial excitement about it, but then there's this fear of maybe it won't happen. So setting realistic expectations is part of this. And the other thing is the fear that there's going to be this nepotism, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine type of thing, instead of doing what's best for the consumer, instead of doing what's best for the citizenry of Cary, who pay the taxes, who pay the salaries of these elected officials. There's a concern that, there could be some backroom deals going on. And, so rather than political expedience, let's do what's right for the citizenry. And, but yeah, I can feel if I were living where you guys were living, I'd be having all kinds of thoughts.
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. I hear you, Bruce.
Yeah, the Chevy's on the levee, but the levees run dry.
I hate to put on my eternal skeptic hat, but I always, human nature being what it is.
Well, you're at the monastery. You're supposed to do that.
I know, yeah. Well,
See, Eric in chat is in Austin, and a lot of people in technology realize that Austin and Raleigh are considered somewhat parallel cities, and that is that a lot of the issues that make Austin thrive make Raleigh thrive with regard to technology. I mean, Austin is a music capital of the world, akin to Nashville and others, and we don't have that around here. But in terms of technology, there's a lot of similarity between Raleigh and Austin. That's probably why Google is looking at this area and Charlotte as well. That being said, Eric says Google is like, make it easy and we will bring it. If we have to go through red tape, see ya. After Google announced Austin, they now have 3 carriers that offer 1 gigabyte or close to it. And he's right. I mean, that's exactly the way it is. Now, granted, if they've said, wait a minute, we've got to go into Raleigh or we're going to lose the opportunity to pick up those first tier 1 gigabit customers, I'm all for it. I hope it happens. Godspeed, let's get it done. Move on. But
as long as we get the gigabit, it's fine.
Well, all I'm saying is just don't cancel your Time Warner yet.
No, absolutely not.
And be active participants in the process as well. Go to that city council meeting. Let your voice be heard. A lot of people don't go and participate. And I think the general consensus would be that the community wants this. And if they're loud enough and vocal enough, and to at least balance out the lobbyists and their money, because it's all about power and getting reelected. So I think there's something that citizens can do.
Well, let me tell you what happened to me, Bruce. I guess it's been now, and this I don't get, about a month or 2 ago, I contacted this NCNGN group and asked them how they were progressing. You know what their response to me was?
We don't know.
We really can't tell you very much right now because it's not public information.
You don't have sunshine laws? Are they allowed to meet?
They're not They're not a government organization. They're a private effort.
Yeah, then I'd be putting that word out. I'd be at the city council and. Well,
they're according to this email I read from the mayor of my town, they're participating in it. They already know what this information is that they're not at liberty to give to me. And that's fine. I mean, that doesn't offend me. That's a private organization. If you and I want to create an organization and keep information to ourselves, that's our business. I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm wondering is the advisability of operating in that fashion. If they want me to support them and go to the town council meeting and say, you guys need to get behind them, they're going to have to do more than say, I'm sorry, we can't discuss it. Endear me to them to go out and help them fight the battle.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
One of the
Again,
problems
it comes
nowadays,
down
I
to
think, is
human nature being what it is. People who are in power corrupts, and that's just the way it goes.
Steve?
It's since the beginning of time. That's the way it is. And
Steve, you were saying?
Sorry.
I think that's all right. I think one of the problems is nowadays, rather than debate law and have to go through the official process for getting things done and sorted to what people want, nowadays everything seems to be a voluntary agreement between whichever party and whichever party, which says, well, we'll agree to do this and they've agreed to do that. So there you go. That's the way it is now. You don't have any sort of due process in respect of having any input as a member of the public to say, hang on a minute, what you're doing here hasn't even been debated. What on earth's going on? We haven't had a say in this. Well, we voluntarily agreed to do it, and that's the way it is. Tough luck. Suck it up.
Yeah.
We won't have laws soon. Mike will be out of a job because they'll just have voluntary agreements for everything.
That'll be all right.
And listen to this story. The New York Times article makes the case that Comcast's planned acquisition of Time Warner Cable is part of a strategy to fight back against the millions of people ditching cable subscriptions. The acquisition rests on the assumption that as people cut back on their monthly TV plans, the cable lines coming into their homes won't lose their value. The idea is that switching away from cable TV will simply make consumers more beholden to their internet connections, and removing, i.e. acquiring the competition, will let Comcast raise rates without losing customers. The article concludes, the steady price increases in broadband rates cast a pall, what is P-A-L-L? Paul?
All.
Over any cord cutter
Curtain.
dreams? What's a pole?
It's a curtain sort of thing.
Oh. It's possible that you might still save money now by cutting off your cable. But if you plan to watch a lot of TV over the internet, don't expect to save money forever. So they are buying Time Warner because they know that more and more people are going to be relying on their internet service, internet connectivity to watch TV. And then if that's all you have, they're going to raise it and you're going to have to go with that. So that's an interesting twist here. And that's exactly what they said in the letter that Time Warner, to keep first they said that they're the providers of content, the TV stations and networks and all that are raising price to new heights. And then to continue providing you the best service and maintain our network, it's going to cost us more.
Well, AT&T Uverse, I believe, just raised their prices fairly significantly.
Really?
Isn't that a coincidence?
Interesting, isn't it?
Well, the FCC chairman came out this last week, and of course they had that court case where some of the rules regarding the whole net neutrality thing that came out a few weeks ago were done away with, and some of them the court said were okay. And they came out with an announcement this week that they are working on reformatting some rules that will meet the court's mandate. But he also did say that and it wasn't really, it was a threat, but it wasn't a threat. But the gun was put on the table, and the gun of which I speak is making these guys common carriers. That is not off the table. That is still a possibility that the Time Warners and Comcast and AT&T Universe are going to have to keep in mind as they negotiate and as they hopefully play fair.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, Kerry could always get a loan from Facebook. I mean, if they can afford to pay $16 billion for WhatsApp, they've got lots of money laying around there. Wasn't that ridiculous?
I don't know that it was ridiculous. I think they have a good reason and understand that it opens up the rest of the world to them in a way that they did not have before. Then that's smart.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's it's a user purchase thing more than it is the talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They could have created something very similar to WhatsApp, but no, you go for this. I mean, I've never heard about WhatsApp before, but they said it's not big in the States. It's big in China, in Europe, and the rest of the world. And I couldn't believe it. What did some of the news reports say that WhatsApp is growing by 1 million users a day?
So, what do you think about Microsoft cutting the cost on Windows 8?
I haven't heard that.
By how much?
I think they're well. Let me bring
$5?
up. But they're going to cut the price by 70%.
Wow.
Now, this is for upgrades or to
Blimey.
purchase a license or as embedded price for an OEM?
I think it's well. I'll just read part of it. Microsoft is cutting the price of Windows 8.1 by 70% for makers of low-cost computers and tablets. So it's an OEM issue as they try to fend off cheaper rivals like Google incorporated Chromebooks. People familiar with the program said. So manufacturers will be charged $15 to license Windows 8.1 and pre-install it on devices that retail for less than $250 instead of the usual fee of $50.
It might help them, but they're still reeling. I mean, the stories I've read lately is that they're counting on the new version coming out to rescue them because of the whole desktop issue. I mean, they're really way short of what their projections were.
They're going to need more than a new version to battle against Chromebooks and tablets.
Yep, I agree.
Too little, too late.
They were far too arrogant in thinking that all people will just accept it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see with the. Have they picked a new CEO yet, or is that still under consideration?
No, that's done.
I wasn't sure. I might be confusing it with another company, but so it'll be interesting to see how this changes the supposedly the whole Windows 8 adventure is what drove that process to the forefront. When that was something that wasn't going to happen right away, Ballmer was not going to be leaving when he did. He still had a couple more years to go. The whole major shakeup at the top was all because of what happened with Windows 8.
So I'm kind of conflicted here. I mean, I installed Groupon while I was in the area to see if any good deals come out, and I'm in Lynchburg, Virginia, and the phone should know that. And so I just get this pop-up: 87% off a boudoir photo shoot. You think I ought to do a boudoir?
You should do it. Shoot? Yeah, you should do it, Bruce.
Normal have $300 for $39. I can get a boudoir photo shoot.
You have to have the boudoir, or do they provide it for you?
Oh man, I'm gonna uninstall this program.
You just show up with your Speedos. Is that how it works?
I saw something on Engadget this morning regarding Windows 8.1. It's only a short bit. I can read out if it might be interesting. Mm-hmm. Update to Windows 8.1 coming this spring with more hardware options, benefits for non-touch users. We may be at a mobile show, this is from Engadget this week, but Microsoft is making some announcements on the Windows side. VP Joe Bellifor, I think his name is, at an event this afternoon has announced that an update is coming to Windows 8.1 this spring, which will offer more hardware options, benefits for non-touch users, and some changes to the user interface. It brings support to devices at lower price points that have as little as 1 gigabyte of RAM and 16 gigabyte storage, enables app launching and switching via the taskbar, and a new mouse user interface with new options for closing apps and right-clicking to get to the start screen. Despite the update's attention on users of non-touch devices, Belfiore, I think it is. I don't know. I can't. My eyesight's going. Belfiore exclaimed, "We love touch, but we do not want to make things better for people who don't have touchscreens. Do want to make things better for people who have touchscreens. I just won't bother reading anything else, but carry on.
We got this, what is this, Mobile World Conference thing coming up? Is it in Brazil or someplace? Mobile World Conference. And, of course, Samsung's going to make their big announcement tomorrow about the new Galaxy S5. But I went to Engadget's site, thanks to your little prompt there, Stephen, and I noticed that Huawei, this Chinese company, is coming out with a 7-inch tablet, the MediaPad X1. It's the lightest and narrowest 7-inch tablet, but it's also a phone. So if you thought the Note 2 or the Note 3 was big to hold up, now you can get a 7-inch tablet and hold it up to your face.
Got to invent that band that goes around your head, with a gooseneck thing, so you can position it either in front of your face or on the side of your head, so you can use it as a phone.
Right.
Steve, Mike, I didn't notice, but Eiffel has been chatting a lot on TalkShoe, and I realized that nobody actually sees it, except me if I notice it.
Oops.
And yeah, that's exactly what I said. Oops. And I asked her if she can talk. But even if she could, what do I do to allow her to talk?
Well, she'd have to call in on the phone or using X-Lite, but like I mentioned earlier, she's not very computer literate.
Oh, okay. So the way that she's in there, she cannot talk.
No, she
Okay.
can only talk if she calls in on the phone, like she did with calling the 919 number last week. But that's obviously quite expensive. You're better off, really, Eiffel, if you can still hear us over there on TalkShoe, recorded live. Then you're better off coming over into this chat on Computers 2K Now live.php, because everybody's over here. Type
Yes.
chatting.
So I don't understand. So she's still using her computer to get into TalkShoe.
Yeah, I think what it is, what you want to do, if it's the video that's overheating,
Turn it off.
turn the video off, or just do a pop out on the chat. If you look underneath the chat interface on the Computers 2K Now live page.
Well, no,
You'll
but
see
she's listening. She's also listening to the show because she's
Yeah, so-
getting it through. So what you can do on
Click
your
audio only.
do the audio only on Computers 2K Now. Did you try that? And that will cool it off, because if I thought she was logged in with, I was wondering how she chatting. If she can chat there, she can chat on.
I think it's like mine. If the video's on, it just overheats.
Right.
Just gets
She's
too hot.
saying I can't watch the live Skype video. Turn
If you have
it
a
off. Go to the page that you were on before, and under the video just click the last link that says audio only. And that will only put the audio there, and you can chat. Try that and see if that's going to solve the problem. Yeah, she's got. I mean, she put a bunch of comments there, and I just realized that she did, because I don't watch it all the time, and I realized nobody can see that.
I don't go on
All right.
TalkShoe now, so I don't log in to see if anyone's making any comment.
And Eiffel, because you logged or you disconnected when you come back, and if you come back and you can't you probably can't log in as Eiffel again. You'll have to put Eiffel 1, something like that. There's no reason to be embarrassed, and blushing is nice.
Yeah, as long as it's your face that's blushing.
Yep. All right. We'll see if she comes in. But there's something else about Comcast's acquisition here. In his column, Barons of Broadband, New York Times columnist Paul Krugman says Comcast perfectly fits the old notion of monopolists as robber barons, so called by analogy with medieval warlords who perched in their castles overlooking the Rhine, extracting tolls from all who passed. The Time Warner deal would in effect let Comcast strengthen its fortifications, which has to be a bad idea. Comcast chief executive says not to worry, it will not reduce competition in any relevant market because our companies do not overlap or compete with each other. In fact, we do not operate in any of the same zip codes.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
This is, however, transparently disingenuous. The big concern about making Comcast even bigger isn't reduced competition for customers in local markets. For one thing, there is hardly any effective competition at that level anyway. It is that Comcast would have even more power than it already does to dictate terms to the providers of content for its digital pipes, and that its ability to drive tough deals upstream would make it even harder for potential downstream rivals to challenge its local monopolies. And we didn't think about that. If everybody around the country has Comcast, and Comcast tells Netflix, hey, we want more money from you, and consumers don't have another provider to go to, and Netflix says we don't have more money to give you, then Netflix is going to lose a lot of money because people are not going to be able to see the movies like they are used to. So that's like I don't know how many people thought about that. That's a very interesting point. And again, last night talking with Katie, she said she always used Netflix, and it was the HD was always HD. These days, she says, it goes in and out of HD, and it gets pixelated at times, and that's because of more subscribers and not more bandwidth. So it has to divide itself among more people, and it says, well, I don't have enough bandwidth for HD, so I'm going to switch down to SD. Not a pretty picture.
I used Netflix quite a bit, and it has been sporadic. And there are times when, like you say, oh, I'm not getting the pictures pixelated, or I'm getting low quality, and I'll go to check the link, and I'm still getting 20 meg down.
Right, but it's not from somewhere else.
It's not my connection. It is Netflix's servers.
Right. No, I don't know that it's Netflix servers.
Or it's their connection. It's a Netflix issue.
No, I don't know. I think it's their connection to Time Warner. Time Warner is not going to throttle you. They're going to throttle Netflix. So Mr. Network Engineer.
Oh no,
they can just put
agree.
something on the routers that say if it's a Netflix traffic, put it at that speed. Don't go over that speed.
But the typical error you see with Netflix is when you connect to a show, and the same is true with Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It'll just sit there and it'll buffer. And you're right. Somewhere in the throttling, somewhere there is an issue with bandwidth, whether it's Netflix's server or it's their connection to the internet or their connection to Time Warner or Time Warner throttling them. Somebody's messing with it. Whether it's a capacity issue that they can't fix without investing money, or it's an issue where they are consciously doing it.
We were talking about it. Was it last week we talked about it, or do I have another story here about it? It's their way of doing it. is
one of the popular stories that came out last week was a guy who did some testing, going directly, through Comcast, and then going through a VPN
right.
proxy thing and marking the difference in speeds. Once he was able to hide the fact that this traffic was coming from Netflix, his speed remained 10 gigabytes down. As soon as he went directly the normal way, it was far less. So.
And there was I read somewhere that they were talking about the fact that Netflix does not. I mean, Comcast or Time Warner or whoever does not need to actually throttle, quote unquote, the speed. All they have to do is not upgrade it.
Right.
And as Netflix adds more customers, now they have to push all these customers through that little hole because the provider did not enlarge the hole to allow more in. So they're doing it without doing anything.
That's a specious argument and excuse. I think it's too much possibility in there for them to use that as as an excuse, a lie wrapped in a reason. Hey, it's kind of interesting. I just got off a week's vacation, and one of the neat things about vacation is just to be able to sit around and kind of take a virtual version, on the internet. And I got into this thing, I've been thinking about this, and, I know you're fixing to go on this 6-month little hiatus there, Spencer, but
I'll be working. I don't think I'll have much time.
Yeah. Maybe you're familiar with terms like boondocking, stealth camping, full-time RVing would be one that most people would be familiar with. Boondocking is free camping, vagabonding. But I just took a little trip with a lot of YouTube videos on what it would be like to full-time RV. And our family did that back in the 80s. We had a 32-foot motorhome, and we full-time for 2 years. But it's really interesting, and there's a lot of really great YouTube videos about this whole thing of people who just, they go from anywhere from, people who just want to be off the grid, and they don't have RVs, they have bug out vehicles, But when it comes to, being on the road full time, one of the things that you have to be concerned about is internet connectivity. And there's a couple. He was a network engineer. She had a computer training program in Florida, South Florida, called Computer Savvy. Anyway, they ended up getting married, and they travel, and they have a website called geeksontour.com, and they've built quite a business. They do training shows. They follow the RV circuit to these big rallies, and they do training on smartphones. They have a bunch of videos on how to use Picasa and stuff like that. But I signed up for their newsletter, and it was quite interesting, and I just got the one that came out today, and it is all about connecting to the internet on the road. And it's really interesting. So when you think about, they talk about, Wi-Fi, satellite, cellular data cards, tethered cell phones, and so forth. But it's interesting. And I tell you, it really intrigues me. I think if something were to happen and I were to be alone, I might seriously consider getting a Class C motorhome and doing some traveling. And I could continue to do my current job that way. But I think I've got this vagabonding in me.
My parents and my mother's brother, my uncle, both did the travel trailer thing for years, and that was a very enjoyable part of their retirement. Mm-hmm. My uncle would go camp hosting, where they would live at a state park or a national park for 3, 4, 5 months. They'd work there. They'd get free lodging. They would do things like either work at the front desk or my uncle did repairs and things like that. They loved it. They did it for like 10 years in a row until they had a catastrophic trailer accident. Thank God they didn't get hurt. But their beautiful new trailer got run off the road by a truck, and the thing literally jackknifed and rolled. They lost everything.
Morning, Nick.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm not bad. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Morning, Nick.
Hey, Steve.
What's happening?
Something interesting is going on with my computer.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
First, I don't know what happened. Maybe it didn't shut down properly last night. I don't know what happened, but when I turned it on, like 3 or 4 drivers reinstalled.
Reinstalled?
Yeah, like my webcam drivers reinstalled and both of my Behringer drivers reinstalled, and then my and then my mouse and keyboard drivers reinstalled. Or well, not reinstalled, but the box came up in the right hand corner saying it was
rediscovered
installing
them.
the drivers. Yeah, rediscovered them, and I'm not sure if it didn't fully power down last night. I'm not sure what happened. It all seems to be working fine now.
As long as it works.
Get
Yeah.
a Mac.
Were
Yeah.
they USB devices?
Yeah, no, they're all USB.
All right, that's probably your hub. It probably lost the thing for the hub, and then when the hub was
Yeah, it's a possibility.
re-seen, it probably went, oh, there's a new one of them and a new one of them. I know if you plug,
they all are in the same like group. That makes sense now.
Yeah. I know if you put a USB device in a different port, sometimes it will need to reload the driver for that, which is like insane. But that's Windows for you.
I do have a Chromebook, Bruce.
You're just spoiled.
Eiffel, are you back on the Computers 2K now? I don't see you in the chat, but you're also not answering the chat. You're out of TalkShoe, so I don't know what's going on.
Maybe that she overheated, could be. It's she just like disappears like that, just like that. Is my audio roughly the same level of volume as everybody else, or does it need tweaking?
It's fine.
Sounds good on my end. You got to be careful, too, Steve, when you're talking about women overheating, that you're not making a reference to their age.
Midlife crisis.
Is that a boudoir
I'm glad
issue?
I didn't say that out loud.
It's a, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd just get slapped if I thought that, let alone said it out loud.
Slapped.
Slapped, yes. A car wreck waiting to happen.
Let's see. There's a lot of stories about the world is trying to get away from the United States.
Do you blame them?
Word that German Chancellor Angela Merkel wants to build a European communication network to keep data transmission away from the United States. She plans to discuss the issue with French President François Hollande. Merkel said in her weekly podcast, she has a podcast, that she disapproved of companies such as Google and Facebook basing their operations in countries with low level of data protection while being active in countries such as Germany with high data protection. We talk with France about how we can maintain a high level of data protection, Merkel said. Above all, we'll talk about European providers that offer security for our citizens so that one shouldn't have to send emails and other information across the Atlantic. Rather, one could build up a communication network inside Europe. Hollande's office confirmed that the governments had been discussing the matters and said Paris agreed with Berlin's proposals. And somebody said that in the very early days of Snowden, that what it's probably going to do, that the worst damage is going to be the fact that it's going to break the internet. It's going to break it up. It's still going to be connected, but people are going to have to reinvent the wheel on their end, on their side. And there was another one here, but sort of like Same here. There's another story about Reporters Without Borders put their press freedom index every year, and the 2014 ranking came out today. It was not good, not a good showing for the U.S. Specifically, the U.S. registered one of the steepest falls of all nations, down 13 slots to the number 46 position, just above Haiti and just below Romania for freedom of press. We're going the right direction. Maybe I didn't keep that, but there were a couple more stories about the fact that Europe is trying to build their own internet.
Well, no offense to the French people, and certainly if Ivel is in the chat at the moment, sorry, but the biggest problem with that is all well and good that Germany's talking to France and trying to negotiate to do something like that, but you only want a major power like America to go boo at France and they'll just crumble anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Well, another kind of linked story to that, if you followed the news this week, this is from the Washington Times. Several news outlets reported this, that the FCC was going to go forward with a project that would send researchers into newsrooms to kind of sniff out, what was going on under some kind of a progressive. And there was such an outcry on this that the FCC now has claimed that they're backing off of that. But, you don't want an arm of the current administration going off into newsrooms, trying to figure out, okay, what are they saying? Why are they saying it? I mean, just a tremendous affront to freedom of speech.
Absolutely. And especially when they're the body that gives you the license.
Right.
Well, it makes
I think there was a
mockery of
test balloon they put out there to see how it would go over and the reaction. But the point is that the fact that they're even considering it,
yeah,
who knows what they'll do that they won't admit to.
Yeah.
Right.
Steve, you were saying?
I say it makes a mockery of the certification system that they use for HTTPS and things like that, when it can just be circumvented anyway, or they just produce their own certificate. So if it isn't a secure connection, then you could understand, fine, they're going to be monitoring it. But when it is a secure connection and then they spoof the certificate so that they can spy on so-called secret and private communications, that's when you think, hang on a minute, you've way gone over the line here. I honestly cannot believe that both on this side of the pond and in America that people are just sitting back and taking it. I know not everyone is, but the majority of people is like, oh, well, it happens. Get up and make some blooming noise, for goodness sake. Stop it from happening. We managed to stop Sopper and Pippa. I'm sure we can do the same thing for the outrageous things that they're doing for our so-called privacy. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Mike, you were talking about, somebody was mentioning ASUS routers last week or the week before, and you said the next one I buy is an ASUS. Apparently they fixed the vulnerability that they had in their routers. But a lot of people actually suffered because of that. And I don't know how many people here have them, but the weaknesses affect a variety of ASUS router models. You can say affected, including the RT-AC66R, RT-A66U, RT-N66R, RT-N66U, AC56U, N56R, N56U, a few more. I mean, if anybody has and they want to ask, I don't want to read all of them. ASUS reportedly patched the vulnerabilities late last week. And this old news comes new again. So, if you have an ASUS home router, you need to look and see if there's a patch for it. Don't just sit there.
I'm taking on an interesting project here where I have a Windows 8.1 laptop that the people asked me to downgrade to Windows 7. And it's a step at a time. Turns out Toshiba has this feature called Secure Boot. I don't know if it's a Toshiba feature or just a generic feature, where it looks for a digital signature on the boot device, and if it doesn't find it, it won't start. So I went in and turned that off, and now I think I have to switch the BIOS from UEFI back to compatibility support mode because it looks like it locks up on.
This is a laptop with UEFI. It was running XP.
No, it was running Windows 8.1.
I thought you said it was running XP, and now she's
No,
going.
no, it's not running XP.
Oh,
it was
okay.
Person had this is the machine that was replacing what this person had.
Oh, so they're
And they
replacing the
couldn't-
machine.
It was too much of a jump to go from XP to
Yeah.
Windows 8.1. So trying to take advantage of this laptop that they bought, which is not, you can't return it. Obviously, it's been used for a while, and to try to get it to boot Windows 7, but it's freezing up as I boot Windows 7. So I've got to see if I can't change the.
I remember the days when people were trying to downgrade from Vista to XP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And many of these computers were built with Vista in mind,
Yes.
and there were no drivers for XP.
And that's, I think, is the issue with this.
Yeah, so if this was designed for Windows 8, you may run into that same problem, absolutely. And unfortunately, you are too early in the game. Somebody will sooner or later come up with the driver, but maybe not that early.
Is anybody else using Windows 8 on a machine currently or not?
Not me.
I'm running 8.1. The machine I'm on now is 8.1.
Yeah, I've got my Lenovo laptops running on 8.1 now. It's a small improvement over 8. Still a little bit annoying in places, but predominantly it's only the start menu. That's all it is, because it's a start screen now with whopping great icons instead of there being like a list down the left-hand side. But once you've got used to that, it's definitely designed for touch control and scrolling. But once you've got used to it, it's not a massive amount of difference. But the speed and the efficiency of it is very good. I think with the next release that's going to be coming out, they're going to address a lot of the problems like the non-touch. But as we said right from the outset, they tried to force it on people when there just was not enough touch devices out there. Now all the manufacturers are coming in and producing lots of stuff with touch, but they've just been forced to do it. That's the only answer. And of course, because it's taking time to do that, Microsoft have got to backpedal a bit now and say, well, we jumped the gun.
Spence, do you see Gene's
No.
comment? He says, why not just use the Windows 7 shell casing on the machine?
Gene just change the logo. Lenovo Helix
is there a
8.1 with a shell casing to make it look and work like.
Is there a Windows 7 shell kind of on Windows 8? Anybody knows?
Shell casing. What?
He says that I'm using Lenovo Helix 8.1 with the shell casing to make it look and work like 7. Huh. He says Google it.
I will. That would be a nice fix if that was the case, if it was out there.
Nine 518-9773 Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And we're also on Blog Talk Radio. And if anybody there is interested in chiming in, it's 323-792-3050.
Dan, I think it was because I was up late last night till like sort of 2 o'clock my time in the morning chatting to Mike, so he probably bored him half to sleep, I imagine. Very rare I'm on late that time of night these days. A year ago maybe, but not lately.
In a statement issued today, this was last week, FCC Commissioner Tom Wheeler announced that the Commission will begin a rulemaking process to reimpose net neutrality, which was recently struck down in federal court. Among the standards Wheeler intends to pursue are vigorous enforcement of the requirement for transparency in how ISPs manage traffic and a prohibition on blocking, the no blocking provision. This means like exactly what net neutrality activists have been demanding. Total prohibition of throttling and vigorous enforcement of that rule, and of a transparency requirement so ISPs can't try to mealy-mouth their way around accusation that they are already throttling. Even before the court decision overturning net neutrality, Comcast and Verizon users have been noting Netflix slowdowns for months. So I guess they, even with net neutrality being struck down, maybe they're thinking that they can come up with certain rules that will put everything back the way it was. If that's nice, then good for him. I mean, I don't like the guy. But if he manages that, go for it. So, Spencer, you're working on the computer now?
I've got it here on the desk, yeah.
Do we have specials?
We do.
Okay.
A little limited today, but we do.
Who's that on Talk Show? Is that Eiffel? Saying lots of things are blocked on my end. Copyright issues, mostly music and movies. Yeah, that was Eiffel. So she's back on Talk Show.
And for all you stamp collectors, Steve Jobs is going to appear on U.S. postage stamps sometime next year.
And
It'll
of
give
course,
me another reason not to mail anything.
and of course, the price of first class stamp is going to double.
$600 for a stamp because it's special. Can't deal with those peasant stamps.
It was interesting there was a news article this past week that came out in some court documents about Steve Jobs threatening Ed Colligan, who at the time was the CEO of Palm. There was an issue where when Apple was working on the iPhone, of course, everybody knows, Palm was the first person out with technically a smartphone with a Trio and of course, Handspring, had a little thing you could plug into the bottom of it. But the Trio 180 was really the first smartphone. And so Apple wooed some Palm employees to come to work for Apple. And then then when Palm had gotten some Apple people to come over back to Palm, and boy, Steve Jobs just didn't like it. He was enraged and tried to come up with a deal, with Ed Colligan. Say, okay, look, we won't hire any of your people. You don't hire any of our people. Let's just call it a truce. And Ed Colligan says, no way. We're not going to do that. I mean, if some of my people want to work for you, that's great. If some of yours want to work for me, that's okay. And I'm not going to interfere with that. And the court documents, he threatened Ed Colligan with all kinds of suits, and which he never, followed through on. But a little better peek into Steve Jobs and his methodology of doing business.
Bruce, I don't believe that story is true. He was a
You don't believe it's true?
He's a visionary, and he would never do anything like that.
I think instead of threatening him with suits, he should have threatened him with a black roll neck jumper. Sorry, that's a stupid joke.
I think you're just a hater, Bruce.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
To say, is anybody aware of this new program that they have from HP printers where you can actually subscribe to your ink supply?
Is it like an
Always
RSS feed?
It's called Instant Ink.
It was always there that, it was a notice to order.
Well, this is where the machine will actually communicate with HP, and you can buy there's 3 different monthly plans that you can subscribe to. $2.99 per month, up to 50 pages, and you can roll over up to 50 unused pages towards the next month. Each additional 15 pages for $1. Then they've got moderate print. That's called occasional printing. Moderate printing is $4.99 a month for up to 100 pages. You can roll over up to 100 unused pages, and it's 20 pages for $1 over and above that. And then frequent printing, $9.99 per month, up to 300 pages, roll over 300 unused pages, 25 additional pages for $1.
So they charging you for the ink or the paper?
It's
I
ink.
guess
cartridges.
they'll send you the ink free.
Yes. Well, they'll send it to you, free. It's included with the subscription.
Wait, so you buy an ink cartridge from them and it will only print 300 pages?
No, it's not. They'll monitor how many pages you print, and you can print for $9.99 a month. You can print up to 300 pages. You can, if you don't use the 300, you can save up to 300 in your additional. So if you use 50
so the
every
next
month,
you can have 600.
Right, but you can only save up to 300 unused pages. So you can only.
Are they giving you the paper as well, or just the ink?
No, not paper, just ink.
That sounds like
And
a
then
scam to me.
if you go over the 300 and you use up all your credit for that month, it's 25 pages additional for $1.
And you never have to pay for ink.
Never have to pay for ink. So, by the way, on this laptop now, changing to a CSM boot, which is compatibility mode, from the UEFI, fixed it. Now it's actually loading Windows 7.
I only had, I think, 2 or 3 machines come across the bench with UEFI, and I still don't know what's going on in there.
It's better.
It's weird.
Better.
It's weird.
Well, it does have some interesting security things built in, like the digital signature, and supposedly takes the hardware level and puts it at a whole different abstraction layer when they boot the machine, so you can do more interesting things. The stuff I read about it was good. I just like you, I don't have enough experience
with it. Yeah, that's the thing, and you don't want to mess it up. And
I've had lots and lots and lots of experience with it, because on the Lenovo G580 that I've got, the BIOS was messed up because of the UEFI. It kept resetting, and it wouldn't let you then wouldn't let you boot it even off of a Linux USB or a Linux, or Linux, whichever way you want to call it, boot CD. It just messed it up completely, and then when you went back into Windows 8, you weren't even given the option of booting from a different device. The BIOS was well and truly messed up. I had to return it to Lenovo to get them to sort it out. So I'd be interested to. I was surprised to hear Spence say that he thought it was an improvement.
Well,
I don't think it is.
Well, I like I said, I don't have any experience with it to say that it's. What I read about it, it sounded good. I mean, they were saying that BIOS as a technology was very dated, and there were exposures, security exposures, and things like that. That they're kind of uncoupling hardware from the original concept of BIOS.
Mm. In that respect, yes, I would agree. It is an improvement. Certainly on paper, it's an improvement. But when you actually go to use it physically, it just becomes a real nightmare. I felt from having been in and out of BIOS for so many years now, you get to know whether it's the AMI BIOS, Phoenix BIOS, whatever BIOS it is that you're using, they're all reasonably similar. Mm-hmm. I think the UEFI is going to be something that completely uniforms every UEFI is going to be the same things in the same places, whereas on the BIOS, very often different functions would be under different headings. The only disadvantage with it is it's the vast majority of it is operated via Windows rather than you doing it at boot time, which is insane. Because if you can't get Windows booting, then you can't get it to go into UEFI, which is madness.
Well, we just have to sit back and say, please, sir, can I have another?
Yeah, well, that's what I had to do. I just send it back to Lenovo. But if you've got a Linux boot disk or something that boots off of USB, give it a try. I mean, you're not going to mess up your system, hopefully not anyway. Give it a try and then you'll see what I mean. In principle, it sounds like a fantastic idea, but in practice, it's just a nightmare.
With the Lenovo, you've got an additional exposure there because they've got that onboard chip for security that if you lose your startup password, you're screwed. So if it was to change it somehow,
I downloaded something the other day.
You have to send it back. I mean, I can't. It's hardwired in there for. Now, Gene, I have to say, I'm looking at this. It's available. It's called Classic Shell. It's available on SourceForge.
Classic Shell is something different. That's just an app that gives you the start button. It makes it kind of look like it.
It makes changes to Explorer. It makes changes to a lot of different things. It's more than just a start menu. From what I can see here, I believe that's what it means.
It does, but it's still. I mean, I install it on every Windows 8 computer that comes across, and not many of them. But you get to the point where suddenly the Windows 8 start menu is there, and you have to try all kind of things to just get back into the Classic Shell.
Yeah, so the booting to the desktop there's probably ways to do it now, but when actually supported by Microsoft, it'll be great.
Yeah, I use Pokey. You can tell it, can't you, to boot directly to the desktop?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I use Pokey now for Windows 8.
And if you click on the left hand, down the bottom where the start button was, it'll take you to like the Metro menu, blah blah, whatever, and then it will click it again. It'll take you back. And what was the other thing? If you right click the left hand start button down at the bottom left, it'll bring up a panel and programs and features. There's quite a few extra menus on the right click.
Yeah, I see device managers there, network, task manager.
But it's not advertised anywhere, and it's only you find out things like that when you're looking around on how-to geeks and things like this.
And I didn't realize that Shutdown is there now.
Yes, they put that on 8.1.
Yeah, that's nice.
At least you don't have to go to start Shutdown now, but in theory...
I actually created a bash file for Shutdown, created a shortcut because of how frustrated it was with 8.0.
And you can actually, there's something there that you can make it look like Windows 7? I think you can also make it look like XP, can't you? There are 3 different ways.
Modes.
If you go to the properties, it says, you can make it look like Windows 7, Vista, and XP, I think. I may be wrong, but you can make it look different ways. The basic properties. If you just do you have the start button?
Yes.
Spence? If you right click on it, and you go to properties.
No, I'm not running Classic Shell. I'm running Proton.
Okay, never mind.
In fact, I might use Classic Shell. I like the way it looks.
It does look good, doesn't it? I've downloaded it, so I'm not on Windows 8 on this machine, but I'll stick it on the thumb drive and put it across. But if it's... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Say something. If it's installed like an application that you can give it a think, yeah, I don't like it or I do, then that's great if you can uninstall it and it's back to as it was.
I think I'll try it on my desktop here, and if it looks like it's going to be viable for this Windows 8 machine, I'll just put that on there.
Yeah, install it on her machine, and you can always remove it. It's just a little bitty, tiny app. There's nothing to it.
If it stops that damn charms bar from coming up every time I move the mouse from the right, then that would be enough for me. God, that's so infuriating.
Is there any downside to Classic Shell? I mean, I've not read many reviews on it or anything.
Well, like Amnon said, there are 3 different styles: Classic, 2 columns, and Windows 7. So I don't know what Classic means. Does Classic mean it looks like XP?
I think that's generally that means XP. If you change everything to Classic,
you can try.
If that's the case, that would be very well suited because this user is coming from XP.
It turns off all the fancy sort of shiny buttons and sort of back shadowing and all that other rubbish that you don't really need.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I put a different hard drive in this machine to see if I can load Windows 7, and I will go through that process just for grins. And but I will. I saved. I took the other hard drive out, so I will try Classic Shell on the Windows 8.1. Definitely.
I think what I might do is actually try Windows 8 on this main machine. I've got Windows 7 on at the moment, and see what it's like. I've got another drive I can chuck it in just to see what it's like on this machine. I've gotten quite used to it now on the laptop, but I'd probably get the laptop out maybe, I don't know, once a month, twice a month, possibly.
I just noticed, I'm looking at this laptop, and I didn't notice it until, for some reason, why I didn't see it. This has the biggest imprinting of the keys on the keyboard that I have ever seen, and maybe it's designed for people with vision impairment. This is amazing. It is huge.
Eh?
What?
What?
Well, I can't move my camera to show you because I've got it on a gooseneck mount, and if I mess with it, it's going to take me a while to get it back to where I want it to be. Let me see if I can hold it up here, and you'll be able to see
it's all right.
what I'm talking about. It's going to be upside down. Look at the size of those letters.
Mm-hmm. And that's a Toshiba?
A Toshiba. It's kind of an entry level. It's a Pentium dual core machine. It's a C855. But it's got it's a nice machine.
Yeah, on CNET, Classic Shell's got 5-star ratings under cons. I mean, nobody's seen any.
Bruce, somebody's talking to you in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know why they're not calling in.
Yeah, well, I bought the Samsung Series 3. It's 2 gigabytes. I like it because it's, in fact, it's down here charging up from my trip. I like it because of its form factor. It's very thin and light. My granddaughter just bought a Chromebook. I recommended she get the Acer 720, mainly because it has the Intel Haswell processor, which gives her about 12 hours of battery life compared to my 8. Also with the Intel processor, if you want to install Ubuntu on it. You're not limited to just Linux programs that have been compiled for the ARM processor. If you have the Intel processor, you're wide open to do anything you want to do on Linux. But yeah, the Acer 720, and when I was down there week before last, I set it up for her. The college that she goes to, Eastern Florida University, which used to be called Brevard Community College, now it's a full 4-year state school. You can't access their college system unless you're using Firefox. You can't do it on IE. You can't do it on Chrome. And so she needed the Linux thing. So I put the Linux side on it for her, and college also gives her a free Office 365 account.
Wait just a second. Mike, where are you going?
I've got some matters I have to go take care of at 11 o'clock, so I'm going to have to dig out of here, guys. Sorry to interrupt you, Bruce.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, so I got it all set up for her, and, she logs into the school, the EDU site on Firefox on the Linux side, and they use some kind of a system called Angel for uploading your assignments to a certain folder on their system where the teacher sees your homework assignments and stuff like that. And with the Office 365, she's got even more than I have on. Of course, SkyDrive, now is OneDrive. I can log into my OneDrive account on the Chrome side and do Word documents and Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoints and things like that. But anyway, it works out pretty good. So can you have Chrome on a PC on home network and go through there? Yeah, you can do that. I use CloudPrint. I don't have a CloudPrint enabled PC, but I have or printer, but I have an old Canon all-in-one that's always on and connected to my network, so I can CloudPrint to that from anywhere. So you can use a Google CloudPrint to a non-CloudPrint printer, but just as long as it's connected to your network and it's always turned on. I was even able to set up one of our printers in our network at our home office to be a cloud printer for me.
Nick, go ahead and connect to Computers 2K now. Hey, Steve? Steve?
Yes, sir.
Rocket Master says he misses you.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ivan. I haven't seen you for ages. Miss you too. Call in. He can't, unfortunately, but you can connect on Skype, I suppose.
Where's Nick?
I don't know.
Nicholas? Oh, well.
I thought I'd done something wrong last night. I came onto the Google Hangout. Admittedly, I don't normally come on that late at night, and I thought, well, that's great. Mike's not there. You had gone, and poor old Nick was sat there chatting.
I got busy with Katie.
I thought, what's going on? I showered this morning.
That was the problem. You what?
Ah, wrong. I said I didn't know what was going on. I thought, well, this isn't fair. I showered this morning as well.
Okay. All right.
I definitely excuse me. I definitely need to upgrade my computer that I'm using for the Media Center PC. It is so slow now. It's just unbelievable. The fan's going full pelt nearly all the time, and I've cleared out all the dust and everything, but it's just a dual core Pentium 4. It's just like, help me, I can't cope anymore. It's trying to do too much.
That's the other nice thing I like about my Samsung Series 3 with the ARM processor. No fan, no noise, just sits there chugging along doing its thing.
I just had a look on the UK site for Samsung on the Series, the 5. It says not available in the UK. In other words, go away. You can't buy one.
Really?
Yeah, not available in the UK. mad, isn't it?
What would be
You know,
the
and
reason?
to Paradigm's comment about Chromebooks are the new netbooks back to give Microsoft a headache. They are giving Microsoft a headache, to be sure. What I would say, though, the difference between the Chromebook and the netbooks are vast when it comes to security, virus, malware, quick booting, instant booting, those types of things. And, you know, it's... but there are certainly some similarities to them. But. Yeah, I agree. Linux, Raspberry Pi, it's all.
What happened to Spence? Did he fall off the slope?
Yeah, he went to that new astral plane he was talking about. I can see it. I can see him phasing a little bit. I think he'll be back with us shortly.
Well, hang on a minute. Is that an avalanche? No, it's okay. Just a flicker on the screen.
You know, the other thing, talking to it was a great 2 weeks. 1 week was business at our home office. The other week was vacation. But when I was at the home office talking with Dave Hess, one of our IT guys, you know, it was also that week or just before that Google announced their deal with VMware to come up with an enterprise solution for using Chromebooks and Chromeboxes as thin clients for the enterprise. And he told me that our IT department is taking a very serious look at that and possibly have something implemented by September. So Microsoft's got a lot to be concerned about.
Well, Steve, I was thinking that avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Steve,
Yeah.
you just wipe it. It's probably some spit.
Yeah, it's probably a fleck of dust, I expect. It could be slobber.
Nick, are you back? No, he's not. So anyway, Venezuela. After 2 days of massive protests, the Venezuelan government has finally taken to censoring Twitter. Users of Venezuela's largest ISP, CAN TV, which is owned by the government, are reporting that either Twitter-embedded images will not load or that Twitter will fail to load at all. And he's saying, I'm a user myself and can confirm that only Twitter is affected and that switching to the Tor browser solves the issue. As news of the protests are not televised for most Venezuelans, Twitter and Facebook are their only means of obtaining real-time information. Kill switch, huh? Is that what's going to solve the problem for us here? A kill switch?
I don't think so.
Well, that's what they want. Oh, I was going to mention something while Mike was here, since he's into SSDs. Apparently, there's a problem with removing or erasing files from SSDs. You may think that you removed it, but it's all there. So that's an interesting situation. So, Spence, do we have specials?
We do.
We do.
Yeah, I just don't have as. Unfortunately, today was one of those days where Office Max does their brown bag sale, so there's not really an ad from them.
So they don't talk about anything. You just have to.
That's it. It's just 20% off what you could fit in the bag. So I guess you can't put a new office chair in the bag. So, but no, I did. Well, they do have a couple of things on the outside here. Actually, do have some advertising. Nothing to get excited about. I guess they give their advertising staff the week off every so often. All right, ready for it now?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. At Staples, they have a LED monitor for $79.99. That's 40 off. They've got the Microsoft 2000 wireless keyboard. It's half price. It's $24.99. Save $25. They've got a Netgear N600 dual band router for $79.99. And they have a Western Digital 1 terabyte portable USB 3.0 hard drive, $64.99. That's $25 off the regular price. It's a pretty good deal. That's at Staples. Office Depot, they've got an Asus 15.6-inch Intel laptop, $249.99, save $130. They've got an 8-gig, 7-inch Galaxy Tab 3 with free 16-gig micro SD card for $179.99, save $20. Do you remember there was a product that was announced? It was a virtual keyboard that would project a pattern on a surface, and you would type by essentially covering the. It's probably a couple of years ago that they announced this, but now it's available at Office Depot. It's called Celluon Epic Laser Projection Keyboard, and it's $99.99, $50 off. Somebody buy it and try it and let me know how it works. I've got an HP AMD A4 desktop computer, $279.99, save $70. That's a decent processor. Western Digital MyBook 3 terabyte desktop hard drive for $119.99, save $10. They've got a Samsung 21.5-inch LED monitor for $119.99, save $30. They've got an HP 11-inch AMD A4 touchscreen laptop for $329.99, save $100. That's at Office Depot. At Best Buy, they've got the Motorola Surfboard 6141 cable modem. This is compatible with Time Warner. $89.99, save $10. Got a Western Digital 4 terabyte cloud drive for $219.99. They've got the Logitech MK550 wireless keyboard. This is the Wave keyboard. And $49.99, save $30. They've got PNY USB flash drives on sale, 4 gig for $5.99, 16 gig for $8.99, 32 gig for $17.99, 64 gig for $34.99. And they've got the HP Envy all-in-one printer scanner copier inkjet for $89.99, save $40. One that offers the ink subscription for as low as $2.99 a month for 50 prints. For $2.99 for 50, $4.99 for up to 100, and $9.99 for up to 300 pages. So if ink is something that keeps you awake at night, and you're annoyed by the fact that you have to go out and buy these things and they're hard to find on sale and so on, it would be interesting to see how this translates into costs per cartridge. If somebody could do an analysis of it, but it's an interesting concept. We'll see if it takes off. That's all at Best Buy, and that's it. Windows 7 has loaded. I am in the setup stage now. I'm going to see what happens when we get to the drivers. All right. When I finish loading.
Steve, are you here?
Yes, I was sorry. I thought I'd muted the microphone. I do apologize.
You're not in the chat?
I'm in the chat, yes.
Well, I thought I saw Rocket Master looking for you.
All right, yeah, he's in the chat there too. Sorry, I was typing away to Eiffel on TalkShoe. See, I can't cope with doing two things. I forgot to mute the microphone. I'm trying. Oh no! I'll just go and beat my head against a brick wall. Hi, Rocket Master. Good to see you.
Nick, are you back? No, he's not. Something must be going on. Oh well.
It's an alien invasion.
They're talking about DDoS, denial of service attack. And apparently these days it's really easy to do with all the high speed that we're having all over. So this guy, Brian Krebs, has a follow-up to this week's 400 gigabits DDoS attack using NTP amplification. Krebs is a computer security writer, has often been the target of DDoS attacks. He was also hit by a 200 gigabit attack this week, apparently from a 15-year-old in Illinois. That kind of volume would have been record-breaking only a couple of years ago, but now it's just normal. Arbor Network says we've entered the hockey stick era of DDoS attacks, as a graph of attacks volume spikes sharply over the past year. Cloudflare CEO wrote, Monday's DDoS proved these attacks aren't just theoretical. To generate approximately 400 gigabits of traffic, the attacker used 4,529 NTP servers running on 1,298 different networks.
Wow.
On average, each of these servers sent 87 megabits of traffic to the intended victim on Cloudflare's network. Remarkably, it is possible that the attacker used only a single server running on a network that allowed source IP address spoofing to initiate the requests. An attacker with a 1 gigabit connection can theoretically generate more than 200 gigabits of DDoS traffic. So to Krebs, he added, we have an attack of over 100 gigabits almost every hour of every day. And many of us actually get DDoSed. It's not that we get DDoSed, it's our providers get DDoSed. There are all kind of different ways that you can fight it. And in most cases, we don't even notice it. But in some cases, like if you go somewhere and it's not going there and you try again and it does go there, it could be that that's what's going on. These guys are just having fun with it, I think. I think it's fun.
Protecting yourself against DDoSing at home is almost impossible, though.
Right.
Nick,
Nick,
with that.
Now I'm none.
Nick, are you back?
I am back. Yes, I'm sorry. I went to go make some breakfast.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and connect to Computers 2K now since Mike is gone.
Oh, let me just finish. Let me
Okay,
finish
that's
my
fine.
food and then I'll connect.
Where's my bacon then? If you went to make breakfast,
I didn't make bacon. I'm sorry. My sausage.
Oh, you're no good, are you? Well, useless.
I guess so.
Don't talk your mouth full.
Bruce,
Yes, sir.
you were talking, and I'm sorry I don't remember. What show do you do? Other than Morning Manna.
I do Android Journal on
Android,
Tuesday nights at
that's it,
7.
Android Journal.
And Tech News Week on Thursday night at 7.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Rocket Master. I'm unable to do that.
Why?
Oh yeah, Turner's
Oops,
Tech Tips. I have a new YouTube channel, Turner's Tech Tips.
I'm figuring you as the tablet guru.
Guru.
You know, there's so many. You know, one of the neat things about technology, and one of the reasons why we enjoy doing this show and other shows that we do, is it's just fun to pass on stuff that you learn. I don't consider myself to be a real expert in a lot of areas, but to some people, a little 4-minute video on how to do something that they never thought of before can be very, very helpful. So it's really neat that we can pass on in some way, cast your bread upon the waters type of deal, paying it forward. And that's the great thing about, the Google Plus communities or forums that you may be a part of. It's just so great that you can, go on YouTube and search and you can find information on how to change the LCD screen on a particular model of Toshiba laptop, which I had to do for my granddaughter. And somebody took the time to make that video and put it up there. It didn't cost me anything. I searched for it. I found it. You know, it's just really, really great, the opportunities that we have to learn and share things doing stuff like this.
Bruce, I was going to ask you, I was watching one of your tech tips, and you were showing off you're showing off an Android app. I don't remember what it was. What are you using to screen share Android to your desktop?
AirDroid, and I do a screen cap of the AirDroid window in XSplit. But yeah, AirDroid is an app on the Android phone. And then when you run it, you go to web.android.com and you desktop, and you can project what's going on your phone to your desktop, and then you capture that in
awesome.
Wirecast or Skype. In fact, here's the form that I use for that. Actually, no, that's not it. Where is it? Oh, maybe I don't have it on there right now, but I can run it even right now. But AirDroid is the app. And you just heard it start up. You do have to be rooted to do the screen.
Ah, that's what I thought.
Yep. You don't have to do everything else on AirDroid, but if you want to do the screenshot, you do have to be rooted. So I'm going to have to change my thing around. Oh, I see. I got the wrong deal. Let's see. There it is. So there's AirDroid, and I usually have to drag that window around to get it working properly. But I can I can bring up programs and.
Yeah. So now that I've got that open, where do you do the actual screen share?
Well, you go on your browser. You go to web.airdroid.com. You log in.
There.
I log in, use an account, and then over on the left, there's an icon that says screenshot.
Oh,
it's let's see. I don't have the right screen capture on it right now, but it says screenshot. You click on that, and then you'll be able to. And if I'm doing something, with AirDroid, I set my display. I move it from 30 seconds to 10 minutes, just so that it stays up there. Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we were talking about Flipboard earlier, so you could do a little demo on Flipboard and see all the stuff that's here.
How is the phone connected to the computer?
It's on the same network.
Okay.
So it's connected by Wi-Fi. And you look at a story, and it'll bring you to the rest of the story. But it's nice. I mean, the whole idea of Flipboard is you're just flipping up. I'm trying to do that really slow on purpose. So you just go through the story. It's really nice, even on a Note 2, to have one-handed operation. So.
Okay, so why go to wherever you went on the phone, right on the computer? Why did you have to extend it from the phone? What's the big deal?
Well, just because this is how I demonstrate my app of the week on Android Journal.
Okay, so this is just so it's for the purpose of showing people apps. But I mean, if you wanted to cast something to the screen, you can go directly to the site from your computer, correct? Unless it's an app.
And some people who don't use AirDroid will just go to the Google Play site for a particular app and will go through the pictures that are there. But I like being able to actually show the app in operation real time. You can demonstrate a lot more things with it. Like, for instance, one of the apps that I use a lot is called Flightboard. And Flightboard just mimics exactly what you see. And of course, I was in Charlotte Douglas Airport yesterday, and I can scroll down and I can see I can sort these. I can sort by the gate or the time, and I can go and see if there's been a change in my gate. So it makes demoing apps really easy. And when I'm doing this, Nick, on XSplit, I set my resolution to, a higher quality, and I do a local recording, and then I upload that to YouTube.
Nick, don't tell me you can't connect.
No, I can't connect. It doesn't work. I called 6 times.
What?
I called 6 times. It doesn't connect.
What happens?
It doesn't ring, and it just says you're not available. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, we're not going to be on for much longer anyway.
Yeah, but I'm worried about it because of it not working. Let me see something. What I do it?
If you add me, it'll work. But
Let's
I call
see,
in,
I'm
and it just
going
says
to invite to group call. I mean, it shouldn't work, but it is.
Yeah. So I guarantee you I could join it now. Let me try it.
I mean, I'm calling you. Should I disconnect? Looks like you already. No, it's not connecting. There you go. I'll be.
I wonder if because you're already in a group that locks everybody
It
else
doesn't.
out.
No, it doesn't. People should call, and I would have to reject them if I don't want them in.
Well, that's
But
it.
it didn't even give me an indication here.
It doesn't even ring. It just the call starts, the line moves up and down, and it just says you're not available. Press whatever to leave a message. It doesn't.
Wow.
Did Bruce drop out because it's just you and me in there now?
No, it's. I mean, I need to recapture.
Okay, sorry.
Just a second, Bruce. Okay. There we go. Why is it still showing like it's trying to call you?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Look at that. Did you call?
No, you added me to the group and I
Yeah.
joined.
Look at that. It's still.
Yeah, sometimes it seems to hang on to the tail end of it and still display it for
Let
a
me
good
let
number
me
of seconds, doesn't
leave
it?
and rejoin. The screen cap shouldn't get all screwed up. Hold on.
No, go ahead. It's still showing like it's trying to call you. I need to. No, it's still showing.
I don't even see any of your videos.
You don't
no.
see on your, even on the web. I mean, you can see it that you have
Yeah,
those
no, I
three.
see what it's doing.
Yeah, let me don't up on you. And
No,
you,
don't redo all the screen.
I
Come
mean,
on.
I'd rather do it now. No, I'm not going to do the screen, but I'd rather do all this now than on a show like this than it happens when I least expect it. So let me up and you call back.
You have to disband the other
Yeah,
group
I know.
then.
Hold it. Okay, so now we'll see if Nick calls. That makes no sense. I know he's calling. I don't see anything here. Wow. I wonder if this is a new feature of. Oh, there he is. Okay, this time it worked.
Yeah, so I called the first time and it picked me right up and it started ringing.
Oh well.
I wonder if it was because you still have Mike in the group, Amnon.
So?
The
Yeah, I
group
did
video
not
call,
remove.
The group video calls only 4 people, correct?
No, it's 8.
Oh, it is? Okay, never mind then.
It's a new feature of Skype.
Right?
Right?
Is the calls not working?
Anyway,
Sorry about that.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's this just time we're doing this and we find out problems and we solve them. I didn't learn anything from this.
Well, it's weird how it does it sometimes and not other times.
Oh. Anyway. So Nick was telling me yesterday that he was going to stream at night. I said, what? And apparently there's the Twitch network, and Nick is a gamer, and he's streaming while he's playing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I going to have to extract all this information from you word by word, or can you tell us about this?
What information is there to extract?
What does it do? What does it actually do?
What do you?
What is the purpose of that?
There really is no purpose. I'm playing a game, so I live stream it. It's like you could do this. You could have a video call with 4 people and not live stream it and just talk about stuff.
So you are streaming it for people to watch.
Yeah.
For lack of better word, to show off your abilities of the game.
No, not at all. It has nothing to do with showing off the abilities. It's
Well,
just,
I mean,
no, but I'm good. If you're going to play the game, you might as well live stream it. That's
so what do the people that are joining to watch get out of it? They can't play with you, right?
no, that's not true.
Oh, they can.
They can.
Oh. Nick is busy.
I'm not busy.
He doesn't want to talk about this.
No, there's nothing to talk about.
I think one of the benefits is like for somebody like me, let's say I wanted to learn how to play a game, and how better to learn than to watch somebody else play it and to hear them describing the strategies and why they're doing what they're doing. And really, it's quite popular. I mean, there's a lot of people who really enjoy watching other people play to learn new things.
Nick, are you just playing like you're playing by yourself, or you say, okay, I'm going to do this because of side? You get involved with, like Bruce is saying, they listen to why you're doing this, why you're doing that. But do you explain what you're doing?
No, because it's not normally. It's not normally set to anything. Like there's really no strategy. I'm just playing.
All right.
There was a little bit of chat in the about Raspberry Pis and so forth, and I mentioned a friend of mine, George Dosher, who's actually I've never played Minecraft or anything, but there's an open source one called Minetest. He's actually running a Minetest. It's a game server on a Raspberry Pi, and it's been quite interesting. The Tech and Coffee groups have gone in there and created houses and lands, and some guy actually created a USS Starship Enterprise that's hovering over the over the world. It's kind of interesting.
Is it cloaked so we don't see it?
No, it wasn't cloaked at the time. Didn't have that Romulan technology yet.
You need a couple more gigs of RAM to do that.
Need to upgrade your graphics card. The holodeck just can't cope with it.
Steve, what is going on on your side of the pond as far as internet and?
Not a lot, really. I haven't had a great deal to be online this week, but I have put several links up through the show so far today regarding Windows 8.1 and there's several other bits and pieces about routers, or routers as you call them over there, I think, being very susceptible to being hacked and things like that. So if you're in the chat, scroll back up through, and you'll see there's several links that I put there to PC World and Engadget and other news type stories that it's worth having a quick look at least for security and safety.
How about news and copyright and stuff, so that I'm sure you're paying attention to? Anything?
There's, I think I mentioned last week that the Brain in the Netherlands got overruled with their ruling to block the Pirate Bay for two internet service providers in the Netherlands. In this last week, they've now decided that they're going to appeal the decision, which is kind of daft because they're just wasting an awful lot of money. There hasn't been a huge amount happening copyright-wise this week that I've come across that I thought, oh, that's a big change. We need to keep an eye on that one. It's been fairly quiet. But then the kids have been off school, you see. So.
No news is good news.
Not always, but at the moment, there's nothing that's sort of jumped off the door. Wow, we really need to pay attention to this one. Have you spotted anything from your side of the pond?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but I'm sure I'm missing some things
Well, there's bound to be something that they've slipped through late on Friday night that nobody noticed over the weekend.
Right.
Oh, of course.
Bound to happen. But, that'll all kick off next week then, won't it? But last week was a fairly quiet week as far as I saw. I didn't catch anything that was horrendous. I've been looking at the RSS feeds because that's usually I get most of the stuff that I notice. And I haven't seen anything apart from a couple of things today, say about many home wireless routers are vulnerable, a study finds, that kind of thing.
All right. Bruce, let me ask you something. Did you ever let the Chromebook battery die? Or did it ever happen that it died?
On my phone?
On the Chromebook?
No, the battery has never died. It's never gotten, I think the closest it came to running out may have been like 15 minutes, 18 minutes of battery life left. And that's after I'd been working all day at a coffee shop, doing video hangouts. Doing a hangout is pretty intense as far as, battery consumption, running that Google Talk plugin and so forth.
Mine's died, Amnon.
The what?
Mine has died multiple times.
And how long before it died?
God, I charge it maybe once a week now.
Wow.
I don't even turn it off. I just close it. I mean, I don't even turn it off now. It's just on. I use it at school 2 or 3 times a day. I just close it. When I come home, I open it back up. If it gets low, I charge it. If it's not low, I just close it and put it back.
So when a Chromebook dies, it's not like a Windows machine dying that it gets corrupted if it gets cut off.
I don't believe so. There's no really shutdown feature on the Chromebook either. I mean, there's no start shutdown. You just hold down the power button and it turns off.
So that's how
when you close the lid, it's like sleeping or hibernating, and otherwise you can totally shut it down.
Okay, let me ask you this then: how long does it take it to boot from shutdown? From complete
6 seconds for me.
Why do you need to hibernate it?
Because I keep my tabs open.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, there's just no reason to turn it off. I mean, for me to turn it off and turn it back on every time is more work than me just closing it.
Yeah. Plus, if you are doing the Linux thing, if you totally shut it down, then you've got to restart the Linux side. Otherwise, if you just shut the lid, you can go right back to it.
Yeah, which I've really never used the Linux stuff, but
so
yeah. I'll tell you, since I found that user agent spoofer thing, I've not put Linux back on it. Now, if I had the Haswell processor, I would most definitely, have the Linux side because there would be things I might want to try. But right now, I'm just using the regular stable.
I wish it was easier to get to it. It's kind of a pain to get to it. You have to run a command, and then you have to do that on the C720. It's like 3 keyboard shortcuts to get to it. It's sometimes not even worth it.
Yeah, but if you're just shutting the lid, I mean, it's just Control Shift and then the arrow. And if you shut the lid, it's going to take you to a black screen, and it freaks some people out. All you got to do is press the space bar, and it'll bring up the little
login screen.
Login. You just put in your password, and you're back good to go. I did find out that when you power wash, which brings your Chromebook back to brand new status, you don't lose developer mode.
Really?
Yeah, power wash
Wow.
will not take away developer mode from you, but it will kill the Linux side. You'll have to reinstall Ubuntu.
They need to add a Skype client on the Chromebook. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can do the IM Plus for chatting, but
It doesn't work great.
right.
There used to be an app on Android and iOS that used to be great with Skype. It was called IMO, white icon blue text, and it was the best Skype app. All of your messages got to you. You could do calls and everything on it. And for some reason, they took away the Skype feature. And I can't even find a good Skype client on Android. The Skype app never sends me any of the messages. And IM Plus, it sometimes does, but it doesn't all the time. There's no good Skype client.
Well, it's because it's Microsoft now, isn't it?
As
soon as Microsoft
I don't know what,
bought it,
I don't
that's
know
it,
what
and
they
everyone
did.
thought, don't want to know.
Yeah.
Well, Skype for Android has always worked for me. I have a persistent, well, we don't call it persistent chat like we do in Link, but I have a group chat called Water Cooler, and I always get notifications in that. People used to be able to send me messages and do Skype calls when I was out and about. I'm really hoping Microsoft, you know, they say that they're going to be merging a lot of things with Link and Skype, and there was a story that came out last week about some of those things happen. There's a new version 2013 for Android that came out, but it still doesn't have some of the abilities that regular Skype does.
Yeah.
So
And you cannot send files from Link 2013 to a Skype person or vice versa yet.
That'll be a feature when they add it.
So if you left the Chromebook on and have some what eats the battery real quick? I mean,
Hangouts.
Hangouts. And let's say you left it in a Hangout.
Yeah.
How many hours do you think it'll run
No clue.
on battery?
No clue.
No, let's see what. Bruce, what do you think?
Well, I've never. You're talking about being in a Google Hangout?
Yeah, if you leave the Hangout open and you just leave the computer on. I know you're not going to sit there for 10 hours or 5 hours, but what do you...
I really don't know, because if I was just sitting there, the screen's going to go dark after a while, and so that's going to save on battery life as well. I mean, you know, I could only guess because that's a specific use case scenario, but I mean, normally if you're just doing normal stuff and not doing a Hangout, I would say 8 hours for Samsung Series 3 and up to 12 hours for the Acer C720.
Yeah. I mean, I charged mine last, let's see, what day did I get off? I think I charged mine Tuesday, and I have yet to turn it off since, and the battery's still at 58%.
Mm-hmm.
So
But then again, I'm not really using it for much. Like
that's fine, but it's on.
Yes, it's on. I just close it. It goes into hibernate.
Well, on hibernating, I can understand, but do you have it actually open?
Yeah, I've been using it almost every night for a few hours after I turn off my main computer.
Wow.
Just browsing around
Yeah, that's
Facebook
nice.
and. Oh, it's great.
So, Steve, are these
talking about-
batteries made from pomegranate juice?
Just this same design as a link I've just put in as you were talking about batteries. Pomegranates are a superfood for humans, and now they're inspiring scientists to make super batteries for your smartphone and other devices. Researchers at Stanford University have inspiration from the pomegranate to design a supercharged anode battery, working in collaboration with the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory. The team used the pomegranate's unique seed design to make a battery that can store 10 times more charge than a standard rechargeable lithium-ion battery. If you'd like to read more, please click the link in the chat interface.
And when the battery dies, you can eat it?
I doubt it somehow, but the batteries I was talking about last week that they're going to be making out of sugar, in theory, yes, you can, because they're biodegradable.
Interesting.
I'd prefer a pizza battery.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could make them out of your favourite food. Now, I'd like a pork battery, please, because I quite like pork. Or bacon battery. Now, that would be awesome,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
You turn the machine on and you smell bacon.
Yeah.
Jeff in the chat is saying that in heavy use, he gets about 6 to 7 hours easy.
Yeah, see, I've never used mine in heavy use, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure if Bruce has, but it's just there's not really like, because you're not really running applications. There's not really, I mean, heavy use is just browsing the internet or being in a Hangout, so it's kind of hard to map out battery life.
I think watching video or having video moving on the screen has got to be one of the major battery zappers.
It is on the older versions that's got the ARM processor, but I've got an Intel processor on mine, and the video I don't notice that. I mean, obviously it kills the battery a little quicker, but it's not draining the battery like it does on the ones that are running on the ARM processor.
Interesting. And Intel is actually uses less power
Yeah, it's the
than
it's the
ARM.
Haswell processor. It's their latest technology.
That's a thing
Same
of the
thing.
past.
They're putting Haswell processors in new MacBook Pros and new MacBook Airs. That's how they're getting them. You know, MacBook Air's getting close to 12 hours of battery life because of the Haswell processor.
I've seen a lot of the manufacturers are putting Haswells in their, swapping it for Haswell in their current designs and not really doing anything else much with them, but just putting the Haswell in is giving several hours more use because of the sipping of the battery power that's needed with the Haswell, which is great.
So you're saying we need to put a Haswell processor in an electric car and we'll get more battery usage?
You'll get more distance, yes.
Haswell and pomegranate juice.
That's
yeah,
right.
if you combine that with pomegranate juice and a sprinkle of sugar, you'd probably go to the moon and back.
Can go around the world.
Yeah, as long as you use the world as a slingshot, you'd be on Mars in no time.
Has a granite.
The gravitational pull.
So, really, to use a computer to be hooked to a TV, this would be the best way to go.
I wouldn't say that.
What can you get from a laptop or desktop hooked to the TV that you couldn't from a Chromebook?
Well, I don't know why you'd hook a Chromebook to the. I don't know why you'd buy a new computer to hook a Chromebook to the TV, or why you would buy a
you're not
Chromebook
going to buy
to hook
a
to TV.
new. I'm saying if you have both of them, then the reason why it's because of power consumption, space.
Yeah, but if that does power consumption, I mean, you're leaving it plugged in.
Yeah, well, with my Chromebook, I have a Chromecast, and I just cast from my Chromebook right to the Chromecast, and then the Chromecast is doing all the heavy lifting.
Talking about Chromecast, a few weeks ago we were talking about the fact that we're going to see more apps. Are there any? Or is it still just Netflix and YouTube?
Well, there's more apps that cast. There's lots of apps that cast now.
You're right.
Like I have a
All
podcast app that casts now.
Yeah, Allcast is being developed now, even more now that they have full access to the API. And then there are Chromecast type devices out there, other HDMI devices that do what Chromecast does, only have some other things.
I see Chromecast initially wasn't available over here in the UK, but it is actually available now. It's about £22 and upwards if you shop around. So it is available over here in the United Kingdom.
But it is now.
It is, yes. So about £22 upwards if you shop around.
So Jeff is saying that George in Tech and Coffee uses an Android stick to his TV. Is he talking about
Yeah, they sell those.
Chromecast?
They look like Chromecasts.
Yeah, it's an Android computer basically on a USB thing.
Mhm.
About the same
And they
size.
were out way before the Chromecast.
Right.
They've been out for years.
Yeah.
I just so Emma, going back to your question, I don't understand why you're saying the Chromecast would be a good device, or Chromebook would be a good device to hook up to the TV. I don't know
Because,
what
I
would
mean,
power consumption have to do
Well,
with
power
that.
consumption. I mean, a desktop or a laptop uses more power, and you don't need any. There's a hard drive in it that spins, and all that kind of stuff. This is,
Okay.
I mean, a Chromecast will be a little thing that can sit on a shelf somewhere, and you control it. If you're not going with a Chrome, I mean, with I'm sure having a Chromebook or a computer hooked to a TV is a lot more versatile and has a lot more usability than Chromecast, because Chromecast is limited to what it can do.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So the Chromebook will be a little tiny thing to put there to do it. And the next question would be, can you kill the screen on it? And I'm sure you can, right?
I believe you can. Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing, I mean, I use HDMI out at the home office going into a 24-inch Dell monitor. When
Right.
I'm doing a convention, I use HDMI out into a big 40, 50-inch LCD TV to demo different
Right.
things. It's light. It's got the great battery life we've been talking about. So it comes in handy
Well, you
there.
see, in this I agree with Nick as far as power consumption, but I'm sure the power supply of the brick is a lot less power consuming than one that charges a laptop, and definitely
Yeah.
more better on saving than a desktop sitting on the floor connected to the TV.
But I'm not sure. But then again, this is not running Windows, so you're not going to be able to be running your Windows apps on this.
I don't know. I mean, what do you do with a computer when it's hooked to the TV? You go.
I don't know. Do you play any games on it or anything? Are you running a media server?
No, I've got a laptop that's hooked to it, and if Kathy wants to go to Amazon Prime to get the movies, or I mean Netflix and YouTube now, she figured out how to use right out of her phone.
Well, then you just need to get a Roku.
Right. Well, you see, that's my point. That
Because what you're doing
sometimes you want to have something that you can just put the browser and go to a certain
you can
place.
do that with what I'm saying is you should get a Chromecast and a Roku. A Chromecast will do your tabs, and the Roku does instant video, Netflix. It does all that stuff. I don't know. There's no reason to use a computer if that's all that you're really doing.
True. Yeah.
And you already have a Chromecast, so.
Yeah.
And she could do the Chromecast from her phone or from a laptop.
Right. She's using the phone, and that's
Yeah.
better.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Why would
Right?
you do something like that?
Boiling them in hot oil is better.
Oh.
What'd you say, Spence?
I said boiling them in hot oil is better.
Come on, now you're getting too graphic here. And Jeff is saying, does anyone know any free apps that stream to a Chromecast that plays files, MP4, AVIs? Yeah, that's right. You see now, if you have a Chromebook over there, you can play anything. No, well, I don't know. You're gonna have to.
No, I
put
don't know if the Chromebook will play AVIs.
That's right. You're gonna have to put them somewhere. So at that point, a laptop becomes more.
No, you can store things on the Chromebook.
How much
does have-
memory? How much memory?
16 gigs, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You could. I guess you could. And it has a network. It has a network, right? I mean, it's on
Has
the
a what?
network, obviously.
Oh yes, of course.
Wi-Fi, so you can bring the movie from somewhere else
I'm not sure how that would
through
work.
the network. I mean, I play videos.
Yes, you're also using Windows to do that. I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
you can.
I don't
you
see
know-
any difference. I mean, just wouldn't the Chromebook just use any computer on the network that is
No.
shareable?
I don't believe so.
Bruce? If I have a Chromebook and I have a Windows computer on the network that is shared, Chromebook go to it and use the hard drive on it to show whatever is on it?
Bruce, you're muted.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there are apps for that will
Okay,
let you
so
do
it's
that.
not a straight. It's not like a Windows machine to a Windows machine.
Correct.
Okay. And Dr. John is asking, can you play them in the Chrome browser?
Play what?
But where are you going to get them from?
You can play videos in the Chrome browser. Yes.
Yeah.
You drag file to Chrome and it'll play it.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, depending on
Can-
I don't know where it pulls from.
Okay. Can you hook an external USB drive to
Yes.
a Chromebook?
Yes.
Okay, so you can put all your movies on it if you wanted to
Yep.
and play it from there. Okay. So here's one way. How to get them onto it is a whole different story. But
Yeah,
you can
there's an
unplug
SD
it.
card slot too in the Chromebook. You can, at least there is on the Samsung.
Yeah, but when you're
Series
looking
3.
at a drive that has 2 terabytes, you're not going to get an SD drive or whatever that. I mean, an SD card that's
Right.
going to be big for a whole. But yeah, you can put an external drive, and is it? Does it use the same format to read from the Chromebook as it does from Windows? So that drive can be moved between. Like to go to a Windows machine and copy everything to it, and then plug it into the USB on the Chromebook.
You'd have to test this stuff, Amnon. I mean,
So you don't know, is the format may not be the same?
I don't know if it plays all the formats.
So let's see, media, supported file formats or 3GP, AVI, .mov.
Oh, no,
MP4.
no, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual format of the drive.
Oh,
NTFS.
no, that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
It reads it.
Yes.
What does Linux read your drive?
No. You
Why does Linux not read your
You have to
drive?
format it for Linux.
I don't know what
You
kind of
can't
drive
take-
you're using.
Do what?
Are you talking about cloning the OS?
I'm not talking about any OS. I'm talking about if you buy a USB drive in the store, you come in, you plug it into your Windows 7 machine, you format it. You put a file on it. You take it out.
What format are you doing?
NTFS. I mean, that's the only thing you can do from Windows.
Okay. Then
And you
it'll work
unplug
fine.
the USB, you unplug that drive, and you plug it into your Chromebook.
Same
Why
thing.
wouldn't it run?
Same thing.
Yeah.
So it sees it. That was. I
Yes.
mean, I
but
didn't want to assume that it does.
Right.
Well, yeah, but as long as I mean,
Yeah, if you take that drive and you plug it into a Linux machine, it's not going to see it.
that's not true at all.
That's how it works with Ubuntu without the without the UI.
I have 2 Linux machines right here.
No, you
and I can
can't. You can't see it.
Well, that has
And
the
Vita,
Chromebook.
if you
The
take a
Chromebook
drive-
is Linux, so that doesn't make any sense at
Linux
all.
formats it in a different way. Now I don't know about Ubuntu and all these. I'm talking about.
Are you talking about formatting it on Linux or reading it on Linux?
I'm talking about reading it on Linux. If I take a drive that was formatted on a Windows machine and I connect it to and I put it into a Gen 2 machine, it's not formatted. It wants to format it. There's nothing on it.
I'm
And
not
vice
sure.
versa. If I take a drive out of one of our servers and put it on a Windows machine later on to see what's on it, it can't read it.
What OS are your servers running?
Gen 2.
Okay, well then, yeah.
I know. I'm
of
saying
course.
it may be different with the.
Yeah,
with
and
the-
every other Linux OS will read a flash drive.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know why Gen 2 wouldn't, but
Well, Gen 2, and I'm sure you can do it with FreeBSD either.
oh yeah, well of course, but I mean,
Well, that's
nobody
what-
uses those.
yeah.
Nobody's practically using those operating systems for
Yeah.
home use stuff.
So I didn't know if it would read.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. So it's
No,
nice. It
it's-
works.
yeah.
So you there were again. I don't want to say it again, but yeah, there's more ways to do
Just
that.
remember,
and
where there's a will, there's
Yeah.
a relative.
yeah, I mean,
60 seconds.
but yeah, I mean, you can take and put all your movies and all your music and whatever on a USB drive and plug it in. It would be nice if you could plug it directly into the TV, but I'm sure later, more recent TVs have maybe USB that can read it.
All smart TVs now that I've ever seen will read files.
Yeah, ours is about 6 years old.
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
no.
that, so
What they need to do is pick up the idea of playing back FLAC files, FLAC music files.
right there you go, like that. Well, oh, you say FLAC drive, FLAC.
FLAC files, yeah.
File.
I mean, they'll play MKV files and other more modern sort of movie type
Yeah.
stuff, and they'll play MP3s and waves, but an awful lot of
But what Bruce mentioned, that Plex will work
Plex
just fine
server.
in that case, and you can get it from you can put you can share your drive somewhere else on the Plex and run Plex on the Chromebook, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I thought you were referring to the smart TV and the capabilities that a smart TV has nowadays.
Hey,
a
Bruce,
lot of them won't play the format
Yes, sir.
FLAC.
you run a Chrome Note desktop, correct?
I do.
It has never worked right for me.
It works all the time flawlessly for me, and
Let
I've got
me
my desktop PC here set up for it. I've got my business laptop wherever it's running set up for it. I can see both of them listed there. I click on there, put in the 5-digit PIN code, and I'm in.
Let me take a screenshot and show you what this thing does. I have never been able to use it.
Now, you got it set up on both ends,
I do.
right?
I can connect, but I need to show you what it does. When you, oh. Let me see here. You're running multi-desktop or multi-monitor, correct?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Right, and then when that little drop down comes in after it connects, I change it to, and then I can scroll side by side. I have to scroll left and right to see each monitor.
How do you take a screenshot on the Chromebook?
It's oh goodness, I forget that keyboard short.
Let's see, I can do a Google. I can do a thing. I want you to take a look at this and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
It's you can do two different screenshots on a Chromebook. One is Control, and then the multi-window key will take the entire screen. If you do Control Shift and the multi window function key, then you can capture a particular
Okay,
area.
give me 1 second here.
So I've got the classic shell all configured. It boots right through to the desktop. I've got it looking just like the classic desktop. It'll work. This will be exactly what we needed for this particular user.
Great.
Nice.
Now, if I can disable the right side menu popping open, I'll see if I can get that to turn off too. That would be helpful.
All right, here we go. I'm just uploading the image right now. Screen's kind of small, but take a look at how the display cuts and pastes sections all over the place. Like the computer's 2K Now embed, video embed.
For
was-
everybody, Nick put it in the chat.
Yeah, the computer's 2K Now embed was cut from a program I had open, and they were flip-flopped. My right monitor doesn't show up at all, and Skype is showing part of the chat room. And this is every time I've tried to use it.
How many monitors do you have?
4.
Oh, wow. That's probably part of the issue there.
I would say that it's the reason why it's showing it like this. It's something to do with video.
But
Video
I mean, I
is
can
getting
use a program-
trampled. What?
I can use TeamViewer fine. That I don't understand what causes it to do this. Because
Maybe
I've
it's
seen
not
other people
reading
say
the-
they're using.
It
Go
could be
ahead.
it's not reading the default monitor properly. So as it's cycling through, going eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you need to hit the space bar when it hits the monitor that you want to take a screenshot of.
Now, if you click the, that little blue drop down,
Mhm.
and I did a power wash on mine, so it's taking me a minute to get connected back to my Wi-Fi network. In fact, I've got to authorize Chrome to remote desktop again, so it's taken me a while. But there are some options on the right, the check boxes, when you bring down that little blue thing to resize.
Mhm.
Give me just a minute, because
Like when I'm looking at the mouse moves fine across the screens, but for whatever reason it gets all messed up, and I don't understand why.
okay. So here's mine. I've got 2 monitors, and so this is what I see.
Okay, let
Okay.
me wait for the video to catch up. Okay.
If you're looking at Skype.
Okay.
So what I do when I'm logged in, I click on Screen Options,
Yep.
and I uncheck Shrink to Fit,
Okay.
and then if I put my mouse either on the right hand side or the left hand side, then I can take my 2 fingers and I can scroll to the other screen.
So do you have full screen clicked then?
Yes.
Okay, so you have nothing. So do you have a resized desktop to fit checked as well, or no?
I have resized desktop to fit is checked, but nothing else is checked.
Okay, so let me try that. Yeah, and then it's extremely zoomed out for me. It doesn't actually go in like that. So weird.
Well, depending on your resolution, you can try a couple other different things. Like now I've gone to full screen, but of course full screen is a different type of thing. But if now I've unchecked resize desktop to fit, and but it's just and what I do when I'm at the home office, I will take that Chrome Remote Desktop tab and I'll throw it over to the other monitor.
Mhm.
So I'll do everything else on my Chromebook, but that may help you some. But it works really good.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's always been like this. It's never worked right.
Oh.
I don't know. I've never understood why.
Yeah.
But I'm always forced to use the TeamViewer web app because that's the only thing that works.
If it's too small, like you saying, if it's too
Well, it's not
zoomed
even
out,
that it's too small. It's just it's unusable. I mean, this video just shoots from one monitor to another. I mean, right now I'm looking at the Chrome Remote Desktop. Skype is open on all 4 of the monitors. It's just like smeared across all the monitors.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
Have you tried Chrome RDP?
What is that?
It's a Microsoft remote desktop client.
I have not.
Chrome Remote Desktop. Try Chrome RDP. It's another app in the web store.
Chrome RDP. I will give that a try.
Yeah, people like that a lot as well. It's highly rated.
Okay. And do you need to install that on both computers as well?
Believe so.
Chrome RDP.
I've got to run, guys.
All right, Spence.
Yeah, I've got lunch coming up here shortly
time.
and a couple other errands, but I am going to. I didn't want to mess around with Classic Shell while we're in the show, but I've got it downloaded, so I'm going to mess around with it and kind of see if there's any value to it. I mean, the only problem I have is like if I want to. I like having, in the start bar and the task bar, on the start bar. I like being able to see my most recent apps. Like if I want to go quickly to Microsoft Word or whatever, it's just a pain in the neck. I like that where you can go to programs, all programs, click on Microsoft Office. You see all the Office programs down there to select from. But finding them in Windows 8, I've got to pretty much go over to the either the tiles or go to search and type in Word and it populates and click on the one I want. So just kind of a pain in the neck.
It's a laborious process, isn't it? Swipe, 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 swipe.
Swipe,
until you get
swipe,
the one
yeah.
that you want. I've downloaded it as well, but don't forget, if you're going to do it, do a backup before you install it, just in case.
Yes. Good advice.
I don't know.
Well, I'm not in the chat because my browser crashed, so I'm not in the chat. I'm not going to be typing my usual thing, so I'll say it instead this week. Have a great week, everybody, and thanks for participating.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. We hope you have the same.
Absolutely.
All right. And I just want to mention that we added a new show to the lineup on Nissan Communications, and that's on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the Tanya Love Show, and she's going to be talking about angels and higher realms and vibrations and frequencies. She's good.
Sounds interesting for the people that like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely for the people that like that kind of stuff.
So when are you going to start the poodle grooming show?
The who?
Oh, grooming poodles.
Growing poodles. Well, you do it.
I could do it, but it would only be one show. Because I would just shave them completely bald, and that would be it.
And then about 4 months later, you could do another one.
Yeah, do it again. That's right. And now we're going to do it again. We'll show what 4 months growth looks like.
Did you guys lose the video? No.
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 I haven't lost it.
It's my machine. Never mind.
My machine needs a reboot because it's crashed the browser several times. I don't know why.
No, it's
Needs
still
to
going.
kick
It's
up
fine.
the butt.
It's
That's
fine.
what it
It's
needs.
still going. It was me.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Nope.
All right. Bye, Steve.
See ya.
Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope that you enjoyed your time here and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you edit, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nissan Communications. And tomorrow at 11, it's the Health In Show with Debbie Brook for the people who likes homeopathy. At 1 o'clock, it's Breaking Free with Marilyn. And like I said, 7 o'clock, the premiere of the Tanya Love Show. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and in Too Late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.